Good morning, everyone. Andrew Douglas in the Action News 5 digital desk. A breast cancer diagnosis is already such a difficult experience for women, but the traditional way of finding a tumor called wire localization adds only to the stress and the discomfort. Many women are unaware that there is an alternative approach to that. Let's talk with someone who knows about that alternative approach. I'm joined now on the Action News 5 digital desk by technical founder of Molly Surgical, Anath Ravi. Mr. Ravi, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
So tell me about what breast cancer surgery typically looks like for the patient.
I mean, you started talking about it quite correctly. Breast cancer surgery for most patients actually starts off in radiology. We're fortunate to be living in an era where we have breast cancer screening. So we find cancers for most women while they're very small and highly treatable. But because they're so small, it's really hard in surgery to find it and remove them with precision. So surgeons rely on radiologists marking these tumors in radiology using imaging. And unfortunately, the current standard of care is using wires, and wires unfortunately look like a fishing hook. The patient comes in the morning after fasting the night before. They place this wire in the breast, and then they wait for surgery. And sometimes they have to drive from the radiology facility to surgery, where the surgeon then palpates and tries to find that wire and remove it. So you can imagine that experience it has a lot to be desired, and we were compelled to change that and created Molly.
I know that there are so many people that are watching us, thousands watch us, and I know that there are some breast cancer survivors or people who know of breast cancer survivors. Can you walk us through this alternative method?
Absolutely. And the whole company was founded on just really improving that patient experience and reducing the burden on patients, because it is such a heavy burden to bear, as well as on the physicians and health systems and care providers. And the way we do it is by implanting, instead of the wire that protrudes out of the breast, we implant this tiny marker. It's the smallest marker on the market. It's the size of a sesame seed. And then that's done as a quick 5-minute procedure, and it's akin to a needle injection. So minimally painful for the patient. It's done, and then she gets to leave, and then she gets to book the surgery on her own schedule, completely autonomously. And then the surgeon uses a wand and a tablet, much like a GPS, to pinpoint the location of the lesion, and they can find it within millimeters and then be able to plan a treatment and a surgery that not only gets rid of the cancer, but also achieves amazing cosmetic results for the patient.
That sounds fantastic. Sounds great. Certainly an alternative that so many people would want to take. What are some important questions that people should ask their doctor in terms of this new treatment?
And I think it's about asking for options. While you're there, I mean, it's a huge burden to bear. It's often advised to have someone with you, like a second pair of ears, to just take notes, because it's a lot of information all at once. And asking questions around what options do you have are very useful. And hopefully people are aware of Molly and this types of technology. But beyond that, I think it's always good to advocate for screening, because none of this happens unless we can have women and patients come in and get screened on a regular basis, so we can catch these cancers early so that they're treatable.
What else can we talk about with regards to this alternative method and some of those breast cancer patients that are currently watching?
So, I mean, a couple of things. The three things that this type of method really changes for the patient is, one, it dramatically improves their experience. We're no longer having them waiting, sometimes even fainting, with a wire protruding from their breast. The second piece is that they are able to schedule their surgery and their implant on different times. So it can be actually adjusted to their own schedule. It's not this long, burdensome day anymore. It's a 5-minute outpatient in radiology and then a scheduled surgery. And these both aspects are dramatically improvements over the standard. And finally, with the additional guidance, we can even offer a little bit of improved options in terms of cosmetic results. So for a patient, this does provide a significant improvement in terms of the standard techniques.
How long has it been around, and is there any kind of an area where people can go online and learn more about it?
Absolutely. We've been around for a better part of 2 years now, and we've had some, and it's been incredibly gratifying that we've influenced the lives of over 6,000 patients throughout North America at several institutions and growing. So, we encourage people to find out more about this treatment options, and we hope to improve the patient experience for a lot of patients with breast cancer. And you can always find more information on our website. It's www.mollysurgical.com. We also have a Hope page that has a lot of information actually authored by patients and patient advocates and physicians themselves, with a lot of resources and support for breast cancer patients as well.
Okay, Anath Ravi, founder of Molly Surgical, an advanced alternative treatment to finding tumors out there. We appreciate your time this morning explaining exactly what this alternative is. Thanks very much.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Okay, let's take a live look outside on this Friday morning. In downtown Memphis, our High 5 camera, some clouds out there. It's not raining, so that's the good thing. We don't have to deal with rain at the moment, and certainly that is welcomed relief after the last few days. But it's still cloudy. We're not expected to really see the sun much today. Another live look from our High 5 camera in Midtown Memphis, where, as you can see right now, it's 50 degrees at 8:06. We're expected to really not get that much warmer today, but we will see the sunshine this weekend. Meteorologist Brittany Bryant has details.
Good morning and happy Friday. We have Easter ahead this weekend. If you have any plans on Saturday, a slight chance of a stray shower in the morning. The rest of the day will be dry. We will hold on to clouds, unfortunately, with a high around 63 degrees. So it'll feel cooler because of those clouds. But thankfully by Sunday, we get sunshine back and our high temperature will be around 70 degrees. Let's check out that hourly forecast for the Easter weekend, or for Sunday. 9 a.m. on Easter morning, 57 degrees, 66 at noon. And then by 3 o'clock, we're right around 70 degrees. And it'll just be a southeast wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour that day. We have a cold front that moved through 2 days ago, and it stalled out to our south. That's why there's some rain in Oxford, and also why there's clouds here across the Mid-South. So that's going to keep a chance for a stray shower around here as we go throughout the day today. Now, rain chances are really low. 10 to 20% means you might see a stray shower, but your best shot for anything is probably around Oxford or Ashland or Corinth, areas where that front's a little closer. But at 3 o'clock on First Alert Futurecast, there's nothing showing up on there. It also looks dry tonight into tomorrow morning. This is 8 a.m. Saturday. You could briefly see some sunshine in eastern Arkansas, but West Tennessee, North Mississippi staying cloudy. Clouds build back in again as we go into the late afternoon, early evening. This is 6:30 here, and notice everyone's seeing those clouds again. But thankfully by Sunday morning, many of those clouds will be moving out, and you'll get more and more sun during the afternoon on Sunday. So let's plan out the rest of today. 55 at noon, 57 at 3 o'clock. Again, 20% chance of a shower, and it'll be cloudy all day. Low temperatures tonight on the chilly side, 49 in Memphis, 48 in Somerville, upper 40s in Brownsville and Alamo, 47 in Covington this evening, upper 40s in Olive Branch, right around 49 in Marks, Clarksdale, and Oxford tonight, 46 in Forest City, and then 47 in Marion today. If you want more details on that weekend forecast, the clouds, the showers that I was talking about, you can get that on our First Alert weather app. Just search for WMC in the App Store to download that for free. So here's our First Alert 7-day forecast. 50s today, as I mentioned, 60s tomorrow, up to the 70s on Sunday, and then we keep that warming trend going. So we have not had 4 full days of sunny weather, sunny and dry weather specifically, since the middle of February. It was a wet March. It's been wet for the past few weeks around here to start off April, but we will finally kick all of that rain out of here and have several days with sunny conditions Monday through Thursday, 4 full days where you do not have to deal with rain, and temperatures will be in the 70s those days.
We and you are seeking to expel District 86's representation from this House in a country that was built on a protest.
Those are the words from now former state representative Justin Pearson, expelled moments after Lawmakers voted him out of the House there. We have Action News 5's Bria Bolden in Nashville giving us an update to what happened yesterday.
This is a historic move. House Republicans did not only oust 2 Democrats Thursday, but also 2 of the youngest and arguably most progressive members of the House, with gun reform legislation at the center. Tennessee House Republicans voted along party lines to oust Democratic Representatives Justin J. Pearson from Memphis and Justin Jones from Nashville.
What we see today is a lynch mob assembled to not lynch me, but our democratic process.
Representative Gloria Johnson survived her expulsion vote by 1 vote. The support for the so-called Tennessee 3 did not waver inside House chambers or outside during debate and after votes were cast. All Shelby County Democrats voted against expulsion for the Tennessee 3, many of them criticizing the process, calling it rushed and a drastic choice. Shelby County Republicans Tom Leatherwood and Mark White voted for expulsion for all 3. Representative John Gillespie, however, voted against expelling Pearson and did not vote when expulsion was on the line for Representative Johnson. House Speaker Cameron Sexton stands by today's historic moves.
At the end of the day, their actions was a protest. So let's just be clear that we all understand what they did. It was called a protest. You can call it peaceful, you can call it whatever, but they had a protest against House policy on the floor because they wanted to.
Pearson, the activist from a faith background, remains joyous about the future and commits to running for District 86 again.
We're going to run for this position again and serve in this state legislature because the people sent us here. The people brought us here, not white supremacy majority Republicans.
Former Representative Justin Jones called Thursday's proceedings a distraction from the real issues, like the Tennessee legislature failing to act on passing stricter gun laws. Reporting from the state capitol, Bria Bolden, Action News 5.
There are about 45,000 registered voters in Shelby County who do not have representation right now in the state house. Local lawmakers expect to move quickly to change that. The overall message is that he broke the rules. He should be disciplined, but expulsion went too far, especially since he was expelled while fighting for an issue that is on top of mind for so many.
It's heartbreaking because you have a younger generation who perhaps don't understand proper protocol and decorum. But at the same time, I think it may have been a little excessive. Maybe a 30-day suspension or something along those lines, but I think that is quite excessive.
We do have an update about what comes next for Justin Pearson's seat. He will. We heard from Shelby County Commission Chair Mikhail Lowry. He said we will make an appointment as soon as possible. I've directed staff to poll the commissioners on their availability for a specially called meeting. And of course, we'll have the latest when it comes to the historic votes and the reaction to it and what happens next on the County Commission. Stay with Action News 5 on air and online for updates.
But let's switch gears a little bit because right now I think there's a few things that a lot of us are struggling with right now. Colds, sinus infections, those allergies have been killer for so many people this time of year. And so we want to talk more about it, let you know the differences between each one, and then just ways that you can maybe battle it so it's not so bad for you. And joining us now to talk more about it is Dr. Anna Yang. She is an emergency medicine and family medicine physician at Regional One Health. Dr. Yang, good morning. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad to have you here on the digital desk this morning. And it's something, we're talking about something a lot of people are dealing with right now. I know my nephews, they are in daycare. They come home. It seems like they constantly have that runny nose. And so a lot of times people don't know how to differentiate between, what's a cold, what's a sinus infection, is this just allergies? Are there certain things that maybe you can pinpoint to be able to know the difference?
Yeah, so that's actually a really good question because a lot of the symptoms for these 3 things can be pretty similar. The cough, the runny nose, the congestion, they all share these in common. So it's a really good question, and sometimes it can really be tough to tell the difference. But the difference is in the cause. So with allergies, basically your immune system is overreacting to some sort of trigger. So anytime you're around that trigger, whether it be pollen or cat dander, your immune system thinks it's under attack. And so it creates this response, and you get the itchy nose, the itchy eyes, the runny nose, the congestion, the sore throat, and that's all caused by this path that goes through with something called histamine. So usually with these, I mean, your symptoms can be pretty darn miserable, but you don't usually get the fever and the body aches and things like that that you usually see with colds or virus infections. So that brings us to colds. So a cold is basically an upper respiratory infection caused by a virus. So there are a lot of different viruses out there that can cause a cold, but when you get the virus in your system, you probably got it from a droplet that was spread to you by somebody who already was infected with the virus. But when you get the virus inside your system, then your immune system is actually under attack. The virus is now replicating in you, and your immune system then puts off this response, and that again also causes the runny nose, congestion, sore throat, and sometimes you can get a fever with it. And so sinus infections, though, are a little bit different. So sinuses are these spaces in your face. So they're up here in the front of your face and also up here in your forehead. So these spaces normally are the air passages from where you breathe in air through your nose, and the air runs through these spaces. So in a sinus infection, these spaces become filled with fluid, which can happen with allergies or with a cold. But if that fluid stays in the sinuses for too long, then it can get infected. It can grow, bacteria even. So if you get a bacterial infection in your sinuses, at that point, then an antibiotic can become useful in clearing that infection. So people with sinus infections have really terrible pressure and pain specifically in their sinuses.
That's really good to be able to kind of have those distinguishers to be able to tell you, okay, what's this, what's that. So if someone has allergies, though, and like you said, it's like whenever they're around that allergy, that's when they're going to feel those symptoms, the itchy eyes, the runny nose, that sort of thing. Can that eventually turn into a sinus infection?
Yeah, so if the allergy causes a lot of nasal congestion, and again, you get that fluid buildup in your sinuses, over time, that fluid buildup, if it's not cleared or drained appropriately, that fluid can become infected, and then you can get a sinus infection.
So when it comes to maybe home remedies, ways that you can deal, say I get a sinus infection and I'm not feeling well and I want to be able to relieve that somehow.
Check out you
Are there certain things that you can do at home? I know that I have one of those neti pots, and those seem to help when I feel like I'm really stuffy. Any other tips that you might have that could help people?
Yeah, so a lot of the time the sinus infection is caused by allergies. So if it's allergies, then you want to treat the allergies themselves. You really want to treat whatever caused it.
Because it always happens. Like
so if it's
right
allergies,
as you come on back on
allergies are mediated by something called histamine.
There
so that's why we have
it goes out
there. And so these are your, Benadryl, Claritin, Zyrtec, Allegra. These are your antihistamines that kind of try to block that allergic response to whatever it is. So for the sinuses themselves, like you mentioned, the neti pot, those rinses for your sinuses can help a lot of people. Steam, like from a hot shower or just even hot water or hot tea, can help open up those sinuses a little bit. Some people really, really love, like Vicks Vapor Rub, that can help open things up. There are a lot of decongestants out there over the counter that can be tried as well. And Flonase is a good one too. So Flonase is a nasal spray, but it's a steroid. And so it's a steroid that just kind of goes up into your nasal passages to try to open up that congestion. So this used to be prescription only, but now you can get it off the shelves over the counter as well.
That's good to know. So with allergies, people that are, I know so many people that are dealing with problems with allergies right now. It seems like it's pretty rough. Are there certain things that maybe they can do even outside of like medications to really help? I know I've heard people talking about, well, if you have to go out and do yard work, maybe wear a mask. Any other tips that you might have as far as that goes?
Yeah, unfortunately, with allergies, we don't really have anything that exists right now that just makes your immune system stop responding to these triggers. I mean, you've got a little innocent piece of pollen floating through the air, and your immune system thinks it's under attack. So the best you can do right now is avoid those triggers. And if you think you're going to come into contact with those triggers, then potentially before you go out there or get exposed, take an antihistamine so that hopefully the allergic reaction is not as bad. Now, there are some therapies out there if you do have really terrible allergies. I mean, there are allergy shots and things like that that can potentially kind of over time kind of teach your immune system to respond less to some of these triggers. But the key to allergies really is just avoidance. And then, once you get the symptoms, try to treat them and then get away from the source as best you can.
For sure. At what point does someone need to go see a doctor? A lot of times I think a lot of people are just like, oh, it's a cold, I'll get over it. But then if it's a sinus infection, you might need some medication. At what point do you need to go to the doctor?
That's a good question. So for the most part, you can treat your symptoms at home. So, over-the-counter things, lots of rest, plenty of fluids, stay healthy, so keep your nutrition up. So, make sure even if you don't feel like eating that you still are, and staying hydrated is really important too. Most of the time, your symptoms can just be managed at home. So the two key things for when you should see a doctor would be severity and duration. So if your symptoms are really, really terrible, even after you've tried all those things, go see your doctor. And that would be your primary care doctor or potentially the urgent care. If your symptoms are really severe, potentially you may be a candidate for, steroids or that kind of thing. And then duration is the other thing. So if your symptoms have been lasting longer than a week or 10 days and are still getting worse, then potentially at this point, this may have developed into a bacterial infection. And at that point, an antibiotic prescribed by your doctor may be the answer.
Good deal. A lot of good advice, Dr. Yang. Anything else you want to mention before we let you go?
Well, there's a lot of things over the counter, and I know a lot of different people like to kind of mix and match. And when you go to the store, there's so many different things on the shelf, and you don't really know what to pick. In general, I do want to say that most of those things are pretty safe as long as you follow the directions on the package. But when you start mixing different things together, just be careful that you're not overlapping drugs. For example, Tylenol. A lot of these different, cold and sinus or cold and allergies or cold and flu or, these medicines that have a combination of different things in them, a lot of them all contain Tylenol. And so when you start mixing these together, just be careful not to overdose on different medications that normally are safe, but if you take too much of it, are not.
That's a good point, for sure. Dr. Yang, I appreciate your time and getting this information out there and just kind of helping us to be able to kind of navigate what's what when it comes to this time of year when people are dealing with allergies, cold, sinus type stuff. I appreciate you so much. You have a good rest of your morning, all right?
Absolutely. Thank you. You too.
Take a look at this. This is the flyer for the brand new spring book sale that's happening later this month. Friends of the library there, the Benjamin L. Hooks Central Library on Poplar Avenue. Check it out. Thursday, April 20th, Friday, the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. All kinds of books will be on sale, along with CDs, DVDs, vinyl, and much more. Let's talk now about this book sale with Mary Aronoff. She is with the Friends of the Library, surrounded by books herself. Mary, good morning. How are you?
Hi, nice to be with you.
I appreciate you being here. So tell me about this spring book sale. I know that we cover it for the most part every year, but it sounds like it's just going to be one of these great sales that people are going to want to take part in, right?
Oh, yeah, it's great. We have the sale twice a year. This is our semi-annual sale. We have it every spring and fall. And all year long, we go through all of our donations and our books that the library feels that they no longer need, and we will pack all these books. We will pack CDs, we have DVDs, we have sheet music, we have records, we have magazines, and we will gather them all together and haul them upstairs in the big conference rooms of the library. and set all these thousands and thousands of books and CDs and records out on this gigantic floor. When you go in, you're almost overwhelmed by all the books we have.
Yeah, it sounds fantastic. So I'm looking at the flyer right now, Mary, and it says Thursday is a member preview for Friends of the Library. That's from 3 until 7 o'clock in the evening. You got Friday from 10 to 6, and then Saturday 10 to 5, and then Sunday it says bag sale. Tell me what bag sale means.
Well, look, first let me mention something about Thursday night. That's the Friends of the Library preview sale. So if you are a friend of the library, you get to come in and look at all our books. First, you get first shot at them. But you can join at the door, and it's only $10 per year for individual, $25 per family. The next 2 days, we're open to the public. So, you know, anybody can come in and look at books. And then whatever is left over after 3 days of this sale, whatever we have left over, we sell in what we call a bag sale, and that's from 11 until 2 on Sunday. And we provide the bags and we provide the boxes. Whatever you can fit in a bag is $6 per bag. Whatever you can fit in a box, it is $12 per box. However, you can't be guaranteed you're going to get, you know, the best selection. The best selection, you should come in on the first 3 days of the sale.
Yes, of course, of course. And I know this is, and again, we're looking at the flyer right now that talks about it. Again, Thursday, April 20th, all the way to Sunday, April 23rd. This is the spring book sale. And I know that the money goes to Friends of the Library, but can you tell me specifically where the money is put to use?
Yes, I can tell you a little bit about that. 100% of the funds we raise go to support the programs and the services of the library. We help with the library's collection, including books and films and media. We also support annual programs and ongoing programs. Some of the annual programs that we support are Bookstock, which invites local authors to come and make presentations to the public. We have something called Boo Book, which is our Halloween program where little kids come and get free books and candy and craft supplies. And we also have a senior health fair. And then some of the branches have ongoing programs that they decided that are good for their particular community. Some of the managers of our branches have decided to hold yoga classes, nutrition classes, exercise classes, art classes, and book clubs. Anything that our local managers think might be very helpful to make their community better. And so we help support those programs. We also help support our robotics team. We have a team that is in competition and goes from cities throughout the region and apparently has done pretty well. And we also have a program called Cloud 901, which is a program to support creative endeavors for teenagers. And we have supplied mentorship and equipment for them to do videos, recordings, poetry, art, any number of creative endeavors. So we have lots of ongoing programs like that too.
I'm curious about
what we earn, tries to go support these programs.
Okay, great. I appreciate you explaining that. I'm curious though, so you have thousands of books, CDs, DVDs. How do you and your team decide which books go for sale and which stay in the library?
Well, initially the books are brought to our back dock area and they're hauled to the hallway where many of us work in the basement, and we go through boxes and boxes of books. And we have some scanners which help us price books that might be worth going onto Amazon because they're so valuable. And again, we're trying to get the best price for what are donated. And if it doesn't go to Amazon and it's in pretty good shape, we will then put the books in a massive storage area where we have them categorized by subject. We have a Second Editions bookstore at the Central Library also. And so the managers from Second Edition will come down and look through what we received as donations, and they will pick books based upon what they think would be popular and sell in the bookstore. And then after that, or during the whole time, we will then start culling through the books and packing books. As soon as we finish one book sale, we are going through and starting to pack for the next book sale. And we do that every 6 months and then have our sale. So it's generally, Amazon, bookstore, book sale.
Sorry, Mary. I was just saying I have the flyer up here, and it has a QR code there at the bottom. And the QR code, I guess people can scan it and then kind of look online and see what kind of books, CDs and DVDs are available. Is that true? Is there a place where people can go online and check it out?
You actually have to come physically to the library to see all the wonderful things we have. The QR code, I think, brings you to the Friends of the Library site, I believe. But in order to see the selection, and let me tell you, we have bunches of cookbooks. If you love cookbooks, we have lots of cookbooks. We have children's books, books for young adults. We have hardback and paperback books, science fiction books, mystery books, history, war, biography, travel, religion. You name it, we have it. So we have a very, very wide selection of books, but you physically will have to come look and see all the great selection we have. We also have some specially priced book sets, and they will be at the very entrance to our book sale.
Fantastic. Okay, Mary Aronoff with the Friends of the Library. I really appreciate you joining us. Quickly, let me get the address where people can go to get some more information about this sale.
The address for, they can do MemphisLibraryFriends.org is the website, and it will, if they went to that site and they hit on sale, it would pull up the information about the book sale. Also, if they go to the Memphis Public Library website, they will have it will be scrolled down with some other events that are happening, but they should be able to find the information there too. And I really hope that everybody will come to help support the Memphis Public Library, including all of its branches. Please come buy books, DVDs, records. Just come and have fun.
Excellent, excellent. Thursday, April 20th to Sunday, April 23rd, there at the Benjamin Hooks Library, the Central Library in the city of Memphis. Mary Aronoff, we really appreciate your time this morning. Thanks very much.
Well, thank you so much.
Good morning and happy Friday. We have Easter ahead this weekend. If you have any plans on Saturday, a slight chance of a stray shower in the morning. The rest of the day will be dry. We will hold on to clouds, unfortunately, with a high around 63 degrees. So it'll feel cooler because of those clouds. But thankfully by Sunday, we get sunshine back and our high temperature will be around 70 degrees. Let's check out that hourly forecast for the Easter weekend or for Sunday. 9 a.m. on Easter morning, 57 degrees, 66 at noon. And then by 3 o'clock, we're right around 70 degrees. And it'll just be a southeast wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour that day. We have a cold front that moved through 2 days ago and it stalled out to our south. That's why there's some rain in Oxford and also why there's clouds here across the Mid-South. So that's going to keep a chance for a stray shower around here as we go throughout the day today. Now, rain chances are really low. 10 to 20% means you might see a stray shower, but your best shot for anything is probably around Oxford or Ashland or Corinth, areas where that front's a little closer. But at 3 o'clock on First Alert Futurecast, there's nothing showing up on there. It also looks dry tonight into tomorrow morning. This is 8 a.m. Saturday. You could briefly see some sunshine in eastern Arkansas, but West Tennessee, North Mississippi staying cloudy. Clouds build back in again as we go into the late afternoon, early evening. This is 6:30 here, and notice everyone's seeing those clouds again. But thankfully by Sunday morning, many of those clouds will be moving out and you'll get more and more sun during the afternoon on Sunday. So let's plan out the rest of today. 55 at noon, 57 at 3 o'clock. Again, 20% chance of a shower, and it'll be cloudy all day. Low temperatures tonight on the chilly side, 49 in Memphis, 48 in Summerville, upper 40s in Brownsville and Alamo, 47 in Covington this evening. Upper 40s in Olive Branch, right around 49 in Marks, Clarksdale, and Oxford tonight, 46 in Forest City, and then 47 in Marion today. If you want more details on that weekend forecast, the clouds, the showers that I was talking about, you can get that on our First Alert weather app. Just search for WMC in the App Store to download that for free. So here's our First Alert 7-day forecast. 50s today, as I mentioned, 60s tomorrow, up to the 70s on Sunday, and then we keep that warming trend going. So we have not had 4 full days of sunny weather, sunny and dry weather specifically since the middle of February. It was a wet March. It's been wet for the past few weeks around here to start off April, but we will finally kick all of that rain out of here and have several days with sunny conditions Monday through Thursday, 4 full days where you do not have to deal with rain, and temperatures will be in the 70s those days.
One of the most famous Memphis stages now has what we're calling a mini-me. It's almost ready to debut. It's the Overton Park Shell on Wheels. And we have Joe Birch with more on this Made in Memphis original and the next launching pad for local talent in the Mid-South. Take a look.
How do you take a Memphis crown jewel like the Overton Park Shell and enable it to go anywhere?
The vision has been almost 4 years for Shell on Wheels, a mobile access and outreach program of the Overton Park Shell.
Memphis designer Tom Edwards caught the dream and went to his drawing board. Early versions featured a shell on wheels that could fold up on a tractor trailer and rock and roll anywhere. With design and fabrication now complete, pieces of the mobile shell puzzle have come together.
We've got the bones, and these are still the bones behind me. When the shell's finished, you will not see anything here. This is all skeleton, like a car chassis that doesn't have the body on it yet. So the only thing that you'll see is the wood stage.
It's all coming together in an old Coca-Cola warehouse on Hollywood, where the Mobile Shell's outreach director shares big dreams.
My dream for this is when people think about Memphis, I want people to think about the music here. I want people to think about how much talent is in the city. I want people to know that there are actually people here working to make the city better.
Elvis began making his legacy at the original Shell in 1954, a factoid that hooked the Mobile Shell's lead fabricator.
When I found out it was, tied into Elvis Presley, I'm a big fan, so I saw it and I said, man, I would love to be part of it.
In fact, Jeff Phelps, the project's manager and chief welder, says the Mobile Shell could become a transformer for Memphis.
It's really amazing because it gives us the ability to bridge the gap between all the communities to come out here and have a part of this.
Fully outfitted with a powerful generator, built-in amps, and lighting, the Shell on Wheels can play center stage anywhere, inside or out, and that's the point. Not everyone can get to the original Shell in Overton Park, so get ready, Memphis. The Mobile Shell is almost ready to come to you.
That's what equity is about. That's what inclusivity and bringing people together in the lens of where they are, that's what it's about. That's our mission.
Okay, I want to tell you about the St. Jude Dream Home giveaway. Yeah, here we go. We are on pace to break our own record with the St. Jude Dream Home giveaway. Tickets are going faster than ever. Reserve your ticket before April 14th. That's next Friday. You could win your choice of a new car, a brand new Honda Civic Sport or a Nissan Kicks SV, courtesy of Wolf Chase Honda, Wolf Chase Nissan. That's in addition, of course, to winning the Dream Home that is worth almost $600,000. Call the number on your screen, 1-800-224-6681 or dreamhome.org and get your ticket today. Okay, a story out of Georgia opens the door to a lot of questions. How someone is placed in hospice care and how their pain medication is prescribed and managed. The state medical board is investigating a doctor for his reported role in an overdose that nearly killed a grandmother. Our national investigative team, Andy Pirati, explains how the woman's daughter was implicated in the scheme. Take a look.
Sheriff deputies and a county coroner respond to a home in 2017. They're told a woman inside, Shirley Couch, may just have hours to live.
Miss Shirley? Miss Shirley? You hurting, baby?
My mom's lying lifeless in a bed. She's in a coma.
Deputies in this North Georgia home find vials of morphine and bottles of antipsychotics in the room. Look at the coroner's face.
Oh, she's got a patch.
When she discovers someone placed fentanyl patches on Shirley, a powerful combination of narcotics usually restricted to patients shortly before death, all administered to Shirley, who was secretly placed in hospice care by a family member.
She's actually being overdosed.
Was your mom dying?
Absolutely not.
Christy Carr is Shirley's youngest daughter. What was she doing in hospice care?
That was my question exactly.
Who admitted Shirley into hospice? Renee Bonner, Shirley's oldest daughter, who worked at Homestead Hospice as an administrative assistant. Suspicious of her big sister, Christy called 911.
We are watching a murder, and I'm not going to stand by and watch it happen anymore.
In 2019, a judge found Renee guilty of attempted murder. In 6 years after the family was told their mother was knocking on death's door, Shirley's still alive. What did you think when you woke up from the coma?
I was so confused. I didn't know where was I at. And
we visited Shirley this past February.
But to have your child trying to kill you, that's hard to live with.
But that's not the end of the story. Shirley's family believes someone else is to blame for nearly killing their mother, someone who never met her. He's Dr. James Shiver.
No, I did not see her physically.
Seen here in a 2021 deposition, part of a recently settled lawsuit the family filed against the doctor. He's the former medical director for Homestead Hospice. In the deposition, Shiver claims he prescribed Shirley morphine, fentanyl, and other drugs, but only after consulting with nurses on the phone, caring for Shirley. According to court records filed by Shirley's attorney, which includes the doctor's Verizon call logs, Shiver and the nurses never spoke.
And this is an empty vial.
Okay.
Multiple requests for an on-camera interview with Dr. Shiver went unanswered, but over the phone, he denies any wrongdoing. Dr. Shiver claims he can't remember speaking with Shirley's nurses, telling me whether or not they were and when they were called, I don't know.
God is the only one that decides when it's our time. Because in my opinion, how's that any different than putting a gun to your head and pulling the trigger? They're just doing it with drugs.
Life Signs of Memphis. It is an institution for so many Memphians to get their annual physical exam. Next week is National Public Health Week, and it is a good time to check in with our friends at Life Signs to talk about the importance of that annual physical exam. Let's right now talk to Sandy Bradford. He's Director of Business Development. He's on the Action News 5 digital desk. And for people that are not familiar, Sandy, let's talk about Life Signs and what it provides for Memphis and the Mid-South.
Yes, sir. We're a unique doctor's office, and what we do is focus on preventive care and the early diagnosis of disease. We do this by providing comprehensive physical examinations to anybody that's interested, and we have a great interest in partnering with corporations, and we communicate our services to those employees of corporations. But we're very, very good at finding problems early and keeping people healthy.
Yes, and you know, I was actually there about a week ago, and great facility, great staff. I have nothing but good things to say. And you know, next week is National Public Health Week, so can you talk again about why it's so important to get that physical exam?
Well, the simple answer is just early detection. Obviously, if you have a health issue that is bothering you, you want to try to get it taken care of as early as possible. The first thing you have to do, though, is find out that you actually got a health issue. Sometimes people put it off long enough to where an ailment, a pain somewhere in the body becomes kind of the new normal, and they just kind of figure that it's part of growing older. But you need to at least have an annual checkup, find problems early so they can be treated and taken care of so they don't become life-threatening.
You know, it's my mistake. Actually, this week is National Public Health Week, but hey, I mean, if you need an annual exam, it doesn't matter what week it is. You got to go and sign up for one. Tell us about the mobile medical clinic that you guys have. I guess that means you can just kind of go to where people are to kind of meet the need, right?
Right, yeah, that's basically the long and short of it. We launched Healthy Here, which is our mobile unit. We launched that back in 2016. And so if employees within an organization or anybody in the community, well, basically the company, if their employees cannot come to us, if they don't have the time to be able to get away from work, we can actually bring the doctor to them at the work site. And at the work site, we'll perform about a 30-minute physical examination. And it typically goes beyond what most doctors are able to do in their office. And so it's about 30 minutes. They come out to the mobile unit, get their exam, go right back into work. And otherwise, a lot of people would not go to the doctor and put it off until their issue became symptomatic, and at which time it might also become a more serious condition. So it makes it real convenient, and that's the reason that employees take advantage of it. So if you can't come see us, we can work out a program to come see you at your job site.
That's a great idea, and especially for a lot of guys out there. You know, a lot of guys won't go see the doctor's office or won't go to the doctor until like we're on death's door. You know, I mean that's just kind of how we are. I mean, so that's right. If there's someone out there that's maybe a little hesitant about getting a physical exam, what would be your way to convince them to do so?
Well, I would just say that if they wanted to come see us, we actually are set up to do more testing in one visit than anybody in the area entirely. So we can actually do the testing that you would normally have to go to anywhere from 5 to 6 different providers to get. So by coming to us at Life Signs, we can do it all in about a 2-hour period and have about every test that you would want to possibly have done. And again, we're very, very good at finding problems. So it would be in your best interest if you've got a family, you've got kids and so forth. Take care of yourself. Come see us. We'll check you out. Make sure that you're healthy. If you're not healthy, if we find a problem, then we can help you take the necessary steps to get the care you need so you can become healthier and overcome whatever problem it is that you're facing.
I know you guys you guys test on so many different levels, a stress test, you test hearing, everything, blood work, that sort of thing. And it usually takes about 2 to 3 hours, right, to go through all those tests. And can you talk specifically about what Memphians are dealing with and why it's important for Memphians, Mid-Southerners, to have this test? Right. Shelby County and Memphis area, we've got a major problem with obviously diabetes, with hypertension. There's a thing called metabolic syndrome, which is basically too much BMI, the obesity, the high cholesterol, the hypertension, all kind of rolled into one. And on top of that, we've still got a lot of Memphians that still smoke, which obviously exacerbates a lot of other issues along with the obesity. So it's a real problem. And cancer, obesity, hypertension, they kill a lot of people in the area. It's all heart disease. So heart disease and cancer. And these problems can be found early. They can be taken care of. They can be treated. And so people don't have to die. And so that's kind of our mission, is preserving health. So when you come see us, we want to find that problem. We want to help you get on the right track, and so it doesn't kill you, basically. But yeah, Shelby County, Memphis area, we've got some major issues. Sure, no question about it. So if people wanted to get connected with Life Signs, what's the best way they can do that, Sandy? Sure, they can give us a call. Our main number is 901-685-5520, or our website is lifesigns.com. If they want to call me directly, that's perfectly fine. My number is 901-260-9914. Okay, Sandy Bradford with Life Signs of Memphis. We appreciate your time here. Thanks very much, and stay healthy, everyone, right? Let's switch gears here, and let's talk about living with kidney disease. It is extremely hard. And while the treatment is life-saving, it's also life-changing because it forces patients to fit their lives into their dialysis schedule. And there's a patient-friendly home dialysis device that helps patients regain control of their lives. I want to introduce you right now to David Rush. He's one of those patients, and he is going to tell us his story. David, good morning to you. Tell us about how you found out about kidney disease and how this health journey has really affected your lifestyle and your music career. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me today. First off, just want to explain what kidney disease is. Pretty much it's the filters in your kidney. You're losing those filters, and the impurities of food we eat and things we drink kind of get into our bloodstream and start to affect our body in that way. And then you move on to dialysis, which really is like an artificial kidney used to clean the body out and get some of the fluid out that we gained during that time. My case happened in 10th grade, just going to get a regular checkup for football. Took a urine sample and came back with a lot of protein in the blood, ended up going over to seeing scarring on the tissue, and then going to dialysis later on in my life. So the journey for me has affected me just by time, as far as my music, just slowing me down from traveling and things of that nature. And the journey has been tough, but we're still here to talk about it.
Tell me about your music career, and so what is that, and then how much time you said is devoted to worrying about dialysis?
Well, sure. My music career and my dialysis career started around the same time. When I started dialysis is when I met Mr. 305 Pitbull and was signed to a record deal right around the same month or so when everything kind of happened to me. When I crashed into dialysis, I had just signed with them. So it affected me early on, just trying to adjust to dialysis and the time that I had to spend in center doing 3 times a week, there 5 hours at a time, and just taking trips to go work with him and stuff like that. So definitely physically, mentally taxing on the body and mind. But at the same time, you lost that sense of freedom, but I've gained a lot of it back when I started home treatment, doing the Tableau at home. Allowed me to kind of make the schedule for myself and gain that normalcy back and still be able to do work and things I love at the same time of taking care of myself.
It sounds like, if I could use a Pitbull phrase, that the dialysis, home dialysis, hasn't stopped the party, right? Don't stop the party.
Never stop the party. Don't ever stop the party. Shout out to Mr. 305 for that. Definitely.
Right. So let's talk more about what people need to understand about the rigors of dialysis and specifically home dialysis.
Well, it's scheduling and freedom and independence and that normalcy that you miss when you're in center. Don't get me wrong, in center dialysis saved my life for a long time. But, coming home just allowed me to get that back. Being a father of 2 and a husband, you want to spend time with your family, softball games, dance recitals, taekwondo, dates with your wife. You want to be able to do that stuff and not be on a set schedule. So with home dialysis on Tableau, I'm able to make my schedule and do things on my time and have that normalcy back of, okay, yeah, we can go. We can make the trip. I'll do dialysis later. I'll do it early. It just gives you that option. And that's what a lot of people miss doing in center. And that's what I get with Tableau at home.
We have thousands of people that watch us each and every morning, David, on this digital stream here. Can you tell us more about your experience with this home dialysis system? I would think for someone that's on dialysis, this is a huge, not only time saver, but just much more convenient.
Yeah, it is. It really is. You go through a training course for 2 to 3 weeks. And, let's be honest here, every dialysis patient is going to be different. My personal experience, went for training 2-3 weeks along with my wife, who's going to be my care partner. I get home, they teach you how to put your needles in, they teach you how to set up the machine. It's like working with an iPad. And once you get home, you have 24/7 around-the-clock support from your nurses and from Tableau itself. People you can call on the line if you need help with anything. And it kind of just gives you that sense of freedom back, like I said, in that time that you have here. At least you're in your own home. You have your kids around, your wife's around, you can watch movies, do things like that while doing treatment. And it just allows it not to feel like a part-time job, but more like just taking my life into my own hands and making sure that I take care of myself as best as possible at home.
What does an average day treating at home look like for you, and how does it differ from other dialysis experiences?
Well, I get up, get the kids off, got a 10, 11-year-old, so you know what that's like. It's like waking up zombies, getting them to school. And then after that, I get to hook up and do my treatment. Then I'm off in time to even go pick them up. I take some time for myself just to, collect myself again. And then I'm off. If we have something going on, if there's a softball game, anything like that, I'm able to be there for that. And it just differs because in center, you're set to a schedule. And if you're not there and you miss your treatment, God forbid, you might not be able to do treatment to your day after that. And that could be bad on your body. With this, I can come in and do treatment when I need to, when I have to, as often I would like to. And that's just been a game changer for me mentally and physically.
Where can people find more information on this home device there, David?
You can check out TableauHomeNow.com. That's TableauHomeNow.com. You go in there and you'll see everything that you need to know about the Tableau and home dialysis machine. And talk to your doctor, man. There's no question that's wrong. Ask any question you can. Be proactive in your health and just, most of all, take care of yourself because, you only get one shot here. So take care of your body, and I wish everybody luck on their journey.
All right, David Rush, we really appreciate your analysis here and telling us about this home device. I know that's going to be a great treatment for so many people out there who also have kidney disease. Thanks so very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Let's switch gears here and talk about the nursing shortage, because that is a real problem, not only across Memphis and the Mid-South, but across the country. Regional One Health has a prescription for that nursing shortage, and it has to deal with a unique nurse residency program. Let's bring in Rachel Kemp, Associate Chief Nursing Officer with Regional One Health, to talk more about this program. Good morning, Rachel. Tell us about the program and what makes it so unique.
Good morning, Andrew, and thanks for having me on to talk about this wonderful program that we have at Regional One Health. So at Regional One Health, we know that the way to combat this nursing shortage is to really focus on development of our new nurses that are coming out of our local nursing schools across Memphis. And they've had a unique challenge in these nursing programs because of COVID. They've been so limited in their clinical experience. So what we are aiming to do is to revamp the nursing residency programs that have already existed in nursing for years. What we do differently is really meet our new nurses that are coming out of nursing school where they are. We give them surveys. We ask them constantly, what's keeping you up at night? What really makes you struggle when you come to work every day to know that you are meeting the needs of your patients and providing safe patient care? So we have a wonderful professional development team here at Regional One Health that builds a curriculum 100% around the needs of these nursing students to give them tailored education that they need in order to give the best care that they can as nurses, and make them feel comfortable and safe in giving that care. And so that's what we're really excited about, is to really focus on what these students need and making them the best nurses possible.
So tell me how long this program's been around, and is this for anyone in nursing school?
So this program started at Regional One in 2021. We just graduated our first cohort, and we are beginning cohort number 5. And this program follows these nurses through their first year of nursing practice. This program is open to any graduate nurse who has graduated from an accredited school of nursing, not just in Memphis, but anywhere across the nation. If you want to come to Regional One, we would love to have you in whatever specialty you're interested in. And they receive mentor opportunities. They receive just specialized education and experiences through their whole first year after graduation.
What kind of results are you seeing from this program? I guess since it's been around 2021, you're starting to see some, right?
Absolutely. So studies show that nurses are more likely to leave their first workplace in their first year of their nursing career. And we were seeing the same things at Regional One. So nurses in their first year were leaving our organization at over a 60% rate before this program. And we've been able to decrease those numbers by more than 50%. And we only lost 1 to 2 nurses in our first year after our first year of the program. So we're really excited about that kind of result, and we feel comfortable that we are giving them what they need to be successful.
Tell me about the impact that this program is having to your staff and your patients.
So patient care is always at the very center of what we do at Regional One, and we want to make sure that they have all the tools that they have to give great care. So they are followed not only by their preceptors, and we've even revamped their preceptor programs to allow extra education for our experienced nurses that are giving this mentorship to our new nurses. And so we make sure that they get elevated skills and that they have just someone that is there for them, that they can ask any question that they need to ask. And in addition to those, we have our professional development specialists who are almost like big sisters and brothers to these nurses, and it's a safe space where they can go talk to somebody who they don't necessarily directly report to get that extra support. And we've had excellent feedback from our new nurses that are in the program, as well as their peers who are the experienced nurses. And we're seeing great results from our patients. We provide great quality here at Regional One, and we see very low numbers of harm events and things. So we know that we are keeping our patients safe here.
If someone is interested in applying for this program, take me through the process. How do they do it?
So they would go to our Regional One Health page and choose careers, and there is a position listed that is called Registered Nurse Resident. Now, if you are a nursing student that has not graduated yet, we also have opportunities for you to start at our organization as a student, and those are called Student Nurse Externs. And you can start working in our organization on an PRN basis, so it works with your school schedule, and we go ahead and get you some clinical experience alongside our nurses so that you can learn not only extra patient care that you don't get in nursing school or in addition to your nursing school, and also learn how we do things at Regional One Health.
Rachel Kemp, I really appreciate your time. Associate Chief Nursing Officer at Regional One Health. Congratulations on a great program, and thank you for explaining to us how it's helping your patients, your nurses, your staff, and everyone at Regional Health. We appreciate your time.
Thanks, Andrew.
The Mid-South Transplant Foundation is encouraging every community to celebrate Blue and Green Day in the Mid-South, organ and tissue donation. Check out that flyer there. April 14th, 2023. That's next Friday. You can shine the light on organ and tissue donation. In fact, that day is a very significant day. Let's bring in Zola Burgess, Community Outreach Coordinator with Mid-South Transplant Foundation, to talk more about April, the month, and what April 14th means for organ donation and tissue donation. Good morning, Zola. Tell us about April 14th and that month of April when it comes to the Mid-South Transplant Foundation.
April the 14th is such an amazing day. What that says for us is that we want all of the citizens of Memphis and the surrounding areas to raise awareness for organ and tissue donation. We would like for you, if you have a business, light up your business. Then we say that we want you to turn your home on the outside, turn that into blue or green. So it raises awareness for the people that are in organ and tissue failure here in the Mid-South. Currently, we have over 4,000 people on the waiting list, waiting on vital organs.
Yeah, I was going to say the numbers are pretty dramatic, that people are waiting for those life-saving organs, and there's 4,000 right now. Tell us what the Mid-South Transplant Foundation does to help those thousands of people waiting for that life-saving organ.
What Mid-South Transplant does, we work quite a bit with the Department of Safety. So when you get your license or if you get it renewed, you can register to be an organ and tissue donor. And this occurs after this life that we have is over. You can donate your organs to those that are in need. And we work along with the county clerks. So when the clerks and the desk asks, you want to donate $1 to the organ donor fund, please say yes. This helps us to spread awareness. We work along with the churches, universities, high schools, businesses. We work with the county commission. We work all over to spread awareness. We have hospitals. We service every hospital in our area, which is East Arkansas, West Tennessee, and North Mississippi. So we get in there and we collaborate with the nurses and everybody to make sure that we get the word out and everything that is being done to save a life.
So I know that there's all kinds of ideas online about ways to bring awareness to transplant, organ and tissue donation and transplant. What are some ways that maybe people can show awareness on April 14th, next Friday?
On April the 14th, what they can do is they can wear a blue or either green. So, and just highlight that. And also what they can do is turn the lights on. Turn the lights on, and that will represent us. We're going to light up the bridges. If you want to support it, you can go out there and see those beautiful lights that comes on. We have a lot going on at the hospitals. Right now, Methodist University, they have their lights on blue and green. The airport, they have theirs on blue and green. And last year we had the Civil Rights Museum. So we're looking for that again so that everybody can recognize that day. And if you want, we're going to have several festivities going on at the hospitals. We're having flag raisings. So when you see the Donate Life flag raised at a hospital, then that's what it's all about. Raising awareness and shining the light.
Okay, Zola Burgess, Community Outreach Coordinator for Mid-South Transplant Foundation. We appreciate your time and best of luck all month long as we bring awareness to organ and tissue donation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. But what we do, if a person wants a yard sign, for the complete month of April, we are highlighting Donate Life Month. If you want a yard sign, you can reach out to us. You can go to midsouth.transplant.org and order a yard sign. You can order table tents, posters, different things that you can just show your support for those that are in need.
Okay, all right. Zola Burgess, again, appreciate your time and enjoy the rest of the month.
All righty. Thank you so much for having me.
You got it. Thank you. Okay, we're here at the digital desk, and we are we're waiting on this news conference that's set to begin. This is a live look from Nashville, where the Tennessee Black Caucus of state legislatures will hold a conference expected to start at any moment here. It's more reaction to the expulsion of Memphis State Representative Justin J. Pearson and Nashville Representative Justin Jones. So once that happens, we'll certainly bring it to you live. Right now, I want to show you this. Once again, our High Five camera downtown Memphis. 50 degrees. It's cold. It's cloudy, but hey, at least it's not raining, right? Meteorologist Brittany Bryant has details on our forecast for the Easter holiday weekend.
Good morning and happy Friday. We have Easter ahead this weekend. If you have any plans on Saturday, a slight chance of a stray shower in the morning. The rest of the day will be dry. We will hold on to clouds, unfortunately, with a high around 63 degrees. So it'll feel cooler because of those clouds. But thankfully by Sunday, we get sunshine back and our high temperature will be around 70 degrees. Let's check out that hourly forecast for the Easter weekend or for Sunday. 9 a.m. on Easter morning, 57 degrees, 66 at noon. And then by 3 o'clock, we're right around 70 degrees. And it'll just be a southeast wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour that day. We have a cold front that moved through 2 days ago and it's stalled out to our south. That's why there's some rain in Oxford and also why there's clouds here across the Mid-South. So that's going to keep a chance for a stray shower around here as we go throughout the day today. Now, rain chances are really low. 10 to 20% means you might see a stray shower, but your best shot for anything is probably around Oxford or Ashland or Corinth, areas where that front's a little closer. But at 3 o'clock on First Alert Futurecast, there's nothing showing up on there. It also looks dry tonight into tomorrow morning. This is 8 a.m. Saturday. You could briefly see some sunshine in eastern Arkansas, but West Tennessee, North Mississippi staying cloudy. Clouds build back in again as we go into the late afternoon, early evening. This is 6:30 here, and notice everyone's seeing those clouds again. But thankfully by Sunday morning, many of those clouds will be moving out and you'll get more and more sun during the afternoon on Sunday. So let's plan out the rest of today. 55 at noon, 57 at 3 o'clock. Again, 20% chance of a shower, and it'll be cloudy all day. Low temperatures tonight on the chilly side, 49 in Memphis, 48 in Summerville, upper 40s in Brownsville and Alamo, 47 in Covington this evening, upper 40s in Olive Branch, right around 49 in Marks, Clarksdale, and Oxford tonight, 46 in Forest City, and then 47 in Marion today. If you want more details on that weekend forecast, the clouds, the showers that I was talking about, you can get that on our First Alert weather app. Just search for WMC in the App Store to download that for free. So here's our First Alert 7-day forecast. 50s today, as I mentioned, 60s tomorrow, up to the 70s on Sunday, and then we keep that warming trend going. So we have not had 4 full days of sunny weather, sunny and dry weather specifically, since the middle of February. It was a wet March. It's been wet for the past few weeks around here to start off April, but we will finally kick all of that rain out of here and have several days with sunny conditions Monday through Thursday, 4 full days where you do not have to deal with rain, and temperatures will be in the 70s those days.
Okay, Friday's destructive storms left many in Wynne, Arkansas, trying to salvage what they could. Others, unfortunately, were victims of scams. This is all that's left of Tiffany Lee's home. She said she found a woman online claiming to rent out her 3-bedroom home in Wynne for her and her children to stay in. After paying a little over $600 in false fees up front, Lee found the real owner of the house was selling, not renting.
I cussed her out. I was very upset. And I told her that I'm reporting you to the police, I'm reporting you to Cash App, and I'm reporting you to everybody else that need to know about you because you're out here scamming people in their time of need.
The Better Business Bureau say this is a trend in areas affected by severe storms. Never, ever pay over apps like Cash App or Venmo to someone that you have never met before. Arkansas Senator John Boozman made his way to Wynne, Arkansas, taking a look at the damage there left by last Friday's tornado and EF3. He stopped at the high school. Demolition was getting underway there after a weather delay. Wynne Mayor Jennifer Hobbs led the tour along with the fire chief, several other city leaders. Boozman said it's remarkable to see people from across the state and country to support the Wynne community.
You know, you look at this, you see the devastation. The good thing is you see everybody working together, and because of that, even though we've got a terrible situation here, it's remarkable that these young people will be back in school in a very short period of time.
All right, so Senator Boozman also toured the main distribution center, holding donations like toiletries, household supplies, canned food. Senator plans to work with FEMA and the Small Business Administration to provide assistance to those who lost everything. Let's now go back to that news conference from the Black Caucus in Nashville, the Tennessee Black Caucus of state legislatures, to discuss reaction to the expulsion yesterday. Let's listen in.
Information, evidence introduced inappropriately, but they handled themselves like true champions. They answered every question. Every person that interrogated them were lawyers on the other side. To me, it's a horrific indictment on the Tennessee GOP, and they ought to be ashamed of themselves. And the fact that they continue to keep their foot on the accelerator when they knew the world was watching really just shows what this Republican Party has sunk to. New lows. I'm from East Tennessee. We need more Howard Baker type Republicans that says the guy on the other side just might be right. We're right this time. They're wrong. These two men, I have every confidence that their counties and metropolitan areas are going to send them back. They're going to bring them back here. And my charge to this establishment is to seat them immediately. The people voted for them, and they need to take their rightful positions back. I'll now turn it over to Jesse Chisholm, my vice chair.
Jesse Chisholm, Jesse-Chism, Vice Chair of the Tennessee Black Caucus of State Legislators. Yesterday, it looked like a Jim Crow era trial, where we saw two black men fighting for their careers, fighting for their reputations, fighting for their political lives. The scene was so disheartening as we were walking, specifically when we were walking Representative Jones out of the chamber. Many of us were fighting back tears. And when we went back into the chamber, many of our tears broke. And it was a shame to see some of the smirks, some of the smiles that some of our colleagues on the other side of the aisle had as they saw our tears. So we have to have our members back. We have to have more members so that we can fight this kind of thing. So yesterday was a shame, and the world saw it, and anybody on that side of the aisle that voted to remove our members should be ashamed of themselves. Thank you.
Okay,
Well,
so
my name is,
so there they are, the Tennessee Black Caucus holding a news conference to discuss the expulsion of Representative Justin Jones of Nashville, Justin J. Pearson of Memphis, and some of the fallout from what happened yesterday. We're going to continue to follow this. We also have Bria Bolden there in Nashville covering this story. We'll continue to keep you updated here on Action News 5. Well, ancient Egyptians are credited with inventing candy, so it's only fitting that an Egyptian namesake like the city of Memphis has its own history with sweets. 5-star story right now about Wayne's Candy Company. Kim Clark has details.
Wayne's Candy Company, just off South Main, on the corner of East Carolina Avenue and 2nd Street, has been part of the Memphis landscape for 76 years. Walk inside and prepare to be amazed.
We see this a lot. They'll walk in the door, especially with our novelty shelf and all the colors, the kids especially. They'll walk in, they'll stop, they'll freeze, they'll kind of do like this. I've seen it 1,000 times. Wow, you like that.
Showroom shelves filled with more than 2,000 types of candy and novelties, and not just your average everyday stuff either.
Well, you know, we have a lot of old school stuff, nostalgia stuff like the candy cigarettes, and got to call them candy sticks now. But anyway, we have Chico sticks and a lot of old school stuff. We have Snowball juice, and we have all kinds of novelties, gators and monkeys and little basketball goals and stuff like that.
Gary Wilkes is company president and the son of the man who started it all, Wayne Wilkes.
Dad hitchhiked from Arkansas back in the 1930s. He had a dime, and so they stopped at a restaurant, and he bought the truck driver a cup of coffee for a nickel, and he got one for a nickel, so he was broke. He walked over to my uncle's house and lived with him, and he borrowed $60 and put $40 down on a real crummy truck. And then he bought $20 worth of cookies, and he sold those and then bought $22 worth of cookies, and that's how he started.
Eventually, Gary's dad was able to buy $3,000 worth of these then 50-cent cans of hard candy, using the profits to then buy his first building. By 1946, Wayne's Candy Company was officially in business and soon after moved to its current location. Kelly Hardcastle is Wayne's grandson.
As far as wholesale candy companies with a cash and carry, I would venture to say we've probably been here the longest.
There's also more than sweet treats inside the candy wholesalers building.
Pickles, we've got 4 different pickle companies of pickles.
Wow.
And all the pig's feet, pickled eggs, hot sausage, we sell a lot of that. Nacho sliced peppers, whole jalapeno peppers. We even have okra in a half-gallon.
You might even find an item or two that was too good of a deal for Wilkes to pass up, like these University of Memphis shirts on sale for $12.95.
That was just kind of the spur of moment thing we got a hold of.
Wayne's Candy is truly a family business.
And then my wife worked down here, and my daughter and brother and sister, and my nephew's my boss now.
And we have great employees. We treat them. We have a long-term relationship with many of our employees. We've had some here for excess of 30 years, and so we look at it as family more than just a boss and an employee. we all pitch in and do whatever it takes.
There's plenty of work to be done since the Candy Warehouse not only welcomes people into the store, but also ships goods to businesses throughout Tennessee, Mississippi, Missouri, and Arkansas.
And then we'll have large wholesalers come in and buy stuff for their business, and they might buy 2,000 or 3,000 pounds.
The hours can be long, not to mention the amount of walking involved with the massive warehouse behind the showroom.
Early hours. Get up early, get down here early. It's tough work. We got a 30,000 square foot warehouse.
Even still, both Wilkes and Hardcastle agree.
This has been a great blessing from God. It just really has. My granddad saw a future in doing this and started a long time, and it's been so great for our family and for so many others.
It's a neat thing to come to work. And you're selling candy. I mean,
Wayne's Candy Company, bringing sweet delight to thousands throughout the decades, makes us proud to call this place home. Kim Clark, Action News 5.
Collierville police searching for the people responsible for an attempted robbery and aggravated assault. Officers were called to the Five Oaks Lane around 12:30 yesterday morning. 72-year-old man say 3 people followed him home. The man says his son pulled out a gun as 3 suspects approached them. Shots were fired. Police say the father and son were not hurt, but if you can help authorities with this, you can call Collierville Crime Stoppers. That number is 901-457-2274. Memphis police investigating a shooting that left 3 people hurt Tuesday, 2:30 in the afternoon, 4100 block of Kirby Parkway. 4 masked men fired shots, according to police, from this white Infiniti SUV. 3 victims were hurt. A business, several cars also hit by gunfire. If you know anything about this, Memphis Crime Stoppers is the number you can call or text and be anonymous, 901-528-CASH. In an effort to increase transparency, Shelby County District Attorney Steve Mulroy announced his office will host bi-weekly news conferences to update the community on matters that impact the public. Stephanie Douglas reports.
Smash and grabs from electronic stores to liquor stores, shoe stores, even churches in the Memphis area have all been victims of theft that have left small business owners reeling from the losses, even some unable to rebuild their businesses.
Because it seems like when people break in here, they just get a slap on the wrist. You know, they go in and they're, no matter what the charges are, and they're left right back out into the street.
This year, there's definitely been an increase of robberies for sure. Nearly 600 business burglaries have been reported to Memphis police, up from over 180 from this time last year. In a news conference, DA Mulroy announced a new partnership with MPD to target the influx of citywide business burglaries.
We are devoting resources in our office, prosecutors, to work in partnership with MPD to target these. That partnership will focus on organized retail theft.
Among these resources would be a group of centralized prosecutors who could help identify repeat suspects in the string of robberies. But at the same time, while DA Mulroy says its intent is to aggressively prosecute those repeat shoplifters, Mulroy is also outsourcing his efforts with the National Associates of Prosecuting Attorneys to reduce retail theft.
This will be a collaborative, proactive approach in establishing preventative measures, including diversion, for those persons in order to reduce the repeat offender rate for retail theft.
All right, Memphis Police Department K-9 unit got some help in the form of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives this week. Every so often, the ATF does travel around the country to give the national odor recognition training to police dogs to help them sniff out explosives. We sent our Action News 5 photojournalist Mike Moore to bring us the sight and sounds from the latest training session here in Memphis. Take a look.
Explosive odor recognition is a basic tenet for explosive K-9 team performance, no matter what the mission is. The NORT training that we're doing here What it involves is a search of 30 different containers. Of those 30 containers, 10 of them contain explosives. When they find or identify the explosives, the dogs will sit next to the container, lay down next to the container, or stand and stare at the container. Here, probably the largest number of participants come from Memphis PD, Shelby County Sheriff's Office, DeSoto County Sheriff's Office, and some other local police departments and sheriff's offices in the area. I tell people it's like training a professional athlete. The daily routine, the workouts, you have to control their diet, you have to limit some things so that their performance is at a certain level. At times you have to let them just be a dog and relax and have fun and interact with the handler and the handler's family and the people around them. And the working dogs, it's been my experience that they all have a pretty good life.
Memphis Tigers have a new women's basketball coach, Alex Simmons, taking over the program. She is coming from Gardner-Webb, where she led the Bulldogs to a 90-59 record over 5 seasons. During her college career, she played for Hall of Fame legendary coach, the late Pat Summitt, Tennessee. She won back-to-back national champions in 2007 and 2008. Let's talk about all the hard work paying off for dozens of Mid-South students. More than 80 students at Whitehaven High School announced they earned scholarships. More than $1 million scholarship offers.
Just goes to prove how much hard work that we do as students, how much time our teachers are taking to put into us because they believe in us, and it just promotes our success and how much hard work that we do in order to help us take our next steps into succeeding in the future.
Endless possibilities. Graduating from college with no debt. Going on to get your master's with no debt. Coming out with making more money than both her parents making. So being $1 million Tiger at Whitehaven is not an option, it's an expectation.
All right, it is the first day of spring here on a March 20th. We are excited to be talking about spring because that is the perfect time for so many homeowners out there to improve their house, renovations, do-it-yourself home improvement projects. We want to talk to an expert about DIY projects. So we have brought into the digital desk Chip Wade. He's a favorite TV home improvement expert. Perhaps you recognize him. He's the original Emmy Award-winning host of HGTV shows like Elbow Room, Curb Appeal, The Block, and several others. Chip, how are you? Good morning.
I'm great, Andrew. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you being here. So why is spring one of those great times for all those do-it-yourself projects that people are just ready to get involved in?
You know, I think it's the opportunity for us to take advantage of that kind of natural energy-inducing life of all the trees coming out and that little sprig of warm weather. For me, it just boosts me full of energy, and it's like we need to harness that for productivity, doing the fun things, doing the necessary things, but doing it in a way that, you know, is not too cumbersome, that we can enjoy this process of all this new life.
I agree. So let's talk about where people should start with their spring projects, because they're like, okay, yes, I want to improve my house. Where to begin?
Well, one thing that I like to do to keep my motivation at this high level is to start with a project where I know I'm getting a great deal. Nothing kind of is a buzzkill, like feeling like you're paying too much for something. So I've actually found a site that's a little bit different than you might have experienced before. This is called Slick Deals. This is a community of millions of real people that work together to save. It's like shoppers helping other shoppers, and they do this by voting and vetting on these deals so that when you look at it, you can actually tell with confidence what deals are actually really great, which again, for me is awesome. It kind of takes that whole, you know, having to cross comparison shop off the table, saving you time. Again, these are hundreds of deals vetted every day, everything from power tools to, you know, bathroom vanities. They've got everything on there. So if you're in the market for something to buy, check out Slick Deals to give you that confidence that what you're buying is a great one.
What about suggestions for keeping our homes running smoothly? What about that?
Now, Andrew, one of the things, I can do so many things around the house, but one thing I despise is working on home systems like, your HVAC system if it goes out, or, your refrigerator and your other appliances. I recommend having a service in place where when the inevitable does happen, you know exactly where to go and you've got all of that already orchestrated. One great place to look is cinchhomeservices.com. What this is a home management system that's easy, that covers the repair and replacement of all of your home systems and appliances that you use every day. Basically, this is going to end up saving money, but ultimately what it's going to do is going to save you the hassle and the frustration of time of where am I looking, who can I trust to just come in and get the job done so that I can be focusing on the stuff that I actually enjoy doing, which is not working on any of these things. So again, it's a preventative measure to give you that peace of mind that ultimately we're all looking for. And again, we're talking about staying on this high of energy and motivation in the spring. Get this taken care of so it doesn't kind of undercut you. It's a great idea.
There's so many home improvement projects people are probably thinking about right now, but what about someone who wants a little something unique for the spring?
Well, I am one of those people. Every single year, I like to kind of reinvent the feel of some of the main areas in the house. But again, that can break the bank if you're not careful. So one of the most cost-effective big things you can do is refresh your space with new prints and frames and some wall decor that is cost-effective. Now, a place you can go is smallwoodhome.com. What they are, a family-owned business that they provide the quality, affordable, custom home solutions like your canvases and your framed prints. My kids, like everybody else's, grow so fast, and it seems like, oh my gosh, I just put that art up, but now I don't even recognize who that is in the picture. To keep things fresh and up to date, you can upload your personalized art, create a gallery wall. All of these things are very easy, and right now they're offering 20% off your first order. So again, keeping in that same theme of saving money keeps us motivated, and this is a quick and easy refresh to your house. I'm doing it. It's definitely something that I think you would benefit from as well.
What about the other items that are on your spring to-do list, Wade? What you got?
Well, one thing that I did this year that was brand new, I've designed and installed so many pools for other people over the years, but this is the first year I actually did it for myself and my family. I was a little hesitant because I was like, oh, the last thing I need is another thing to maintain. I'm not looking at the fun it could be. I'm saying, how can I make this easier? So I did all the research for you and found what I feel like is the best pool cleaning robot out there. This is from Aiper. This is called the Aiper Elite Pro. This is a very powerful, easy to use cordless pool cleaner that basically will suck up all that gross stuff on the walls and the bottom of your pool. Again, yeah, it actually climbs the walls, cleans those too. The whole idea is that it just does it for you so you can actually enjoy your pool and not having to be working on it all the time, which is great. And again, saving money is what I'm all about. They have a code right now on Aiper.com, $150 with the code AIPER150. Again, really great things. When this thing gets done, it even parks itself beside the edge of the pool, which makes it really easy to just grab, charge again for the next time. Really, really good stuff. Technology is our friend when it comes to that. And I've got all this up for us, Andrew, on tipsontv.com in case you missed anything or you're like, oh, I like that, but I forgot what it was called. Check out tipsontv.com. We've got all of it there. And for any other inspiration that you might be looking for, I'm always doing projects on my social media. @ChipWade is my handle on everything. Check it out. Hopefully you'll be inspired to save money and pick the right stuff to make sure your attention is focused on the best productivity this spring to keep us all motivated and moving forward.
You've really motivated us on a Monday morning. Gosh, I mean, we're looking at all these things. We're taking notes here. We're like, hey, this looks really good. I love it. Chip Wade bringing it with the energy this Monday morning, first day of spring. Chip, thanks very much.
Andrew, thanks for having me.
All right, let's take a look at the cover of La Prensa Latina, the largest bilingual newspaper across the Memphis area. Father and son vigilantes charged with second-degree murder. That is the cover story of the issue on newsstands right now, and of course at LaPrensaLatina.com. Let's bring in Vivian Hernandez de Adamson. It's been so long, Vivian. I forgot how to say your name. Good morning. It's good to have you back.
Hi, Andrew. Good morning. It's actually Fernandez.
Fernandez. See, that's what's happening. It's a Friday. It's been a long week. I know that. I've said your name dozens of times, and I apologize. Vivian Fernandez Day Adamson.
Okay.
There it is.
Don't worry.
You look fantastic this morning. Very spring-like.
Thank you.
I want to talk a little bit about La Prensa Latina and the cover story here, because that is a serious crime that happened. Tell me more.
Yes, this is like you said, it is a very serious situation because I know that there's a lot of violence here in Memphis, like in any other city, in this country and in the world, actually. But I mean, it's something that even though you're a victim of crime, you have to let the authorities to handle the situation. Don't do it by yourself. So this father and son, what happened is that the wife, she was in the parking lot of a grocery store called La Fiesta here in Memphis on Macon Road. And then just when she was in the parking lot with her daughter, they got robbed. The guys, took their car, it was a Chevrolet Tahoe, and they just took it away from her. So she had to walk home. And then when she got home, and her husband got back from work, she told him what happened. And then, he got very upset, and him and one of the sons, apparently they knew, the people who stole the vehicle. So they went and looked for them. They found them. They found the vehicle. And then the son thought that, there were 3 guys in the vehicle, and they thought that they were trying to reach for firearms or something. So maybe he got scared, I don't know. And in self-defense, he started shooting at them. So one of the guys got very injured, seriously injured, and he died in the hospital when he was in the hospital. So anyway, I mean, yes, they recovered the stolen vehicle, but then at the same time, just because they wanted to take the law into their hands, now they are paying the consequences, and they are in jail, and they might be deported too now. So that's the thing that, we're trying to give this message to the community. Look, this is what is happening. They try to take the law into their own hands, and now, they're in jail. And just because they are here undocumented, even though they have been living here for many years and they are good people and hardworking people, now they might face deportation.
I gotcha. And again, you can read more about this story on the pages of La Prensa Latina. It is the cover story this week, and of course on lapensalatina.com. I want to switch gears now and talk about something a little more enjoyable, and that is the Orpheum Theater, Vivian. Yes. Announced its new Broadway season, and there's an article about that on the pages there. Let's talk about that.
Yes, well, I love the Orpheum. I love Broadway, the musicals. I mean,
too.
I love the arts, really. And then this is very amazing because they're bringing back some of the most important and beautiful musicals, ever, like Les Miserables, for instance. I've seen it like probably 3 times, and it's every time I see it, I love it more. I mean, it's really an amazing musical. They're going to bring for the first time Beetlejuice. Can you imagine that? I mean, it's just like the movie, but you're going to see it in a musical. So it looks very funny. They're bringing Mrs. Doubtfire, which is another lovely movie. I'm pretty sure, like, if not everyone, a lot of people have seen it already. It's just, a beautiful movie, very motivational. And then they're going to bring Wicked. Wicked is, I mean, I saw it also last time they came to Memphis, and it's just, it is funny. It's beautiful. I mean, it has everything in one musical, and it's a story before Dorothy. So it's really nice. And Mamma Mia and Company and Six. Anyway, there's going to be 8 different musicals for the next Broadway season at the Orpheum, so you cannot miss it.
All right, fantastic. Finally, Vivian, I want to talk about the family of a Hispanic man that's asking for help with funeral expenses. Tell me more about that.
Yes, unfortunately, this person, his name was Wilmer Alexander Cardona Cruz, excuse me. He was a very hardworking person. He was born in Honduras, and then he was just working, cutting trees. And unfortunately, with all these latest storms, he got crushed by a tree. So his family, they live in Memphis, but they don't have all the resources, to pay for the funeral. So they're asking the community for help. So they created a GoFundMe page, and then they're asking people to go to that website, and donate some money if they can. So, they can pay for all these expenses.
Okay, and you can read this story and much more on the latest edition of La Prensa Latina, laprensalatina.com. Before we let you go, Vivian, anything else you want our viewers to know about?
No, thank you very much. Just, have a great weekend. It's Holy Week, and today's Good Friday, so just be safe and just be a good person.
Yes, the editor of La Prensa Latina, Vivian Fernandez de Adamson. It's great to have you back on the digital desk. Thanks very much.
Glad to be back too. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Good morning and happy Friday. We have Easter ahead this weekend. If you have any plans on Saturday, a slight chance of a stray shower in the morning. The rest of the day will be dry. We will hold on to clouds, unfortunately, with a high around 63 degrees. So it'll feel cooler because of those clouds. But thankfully by Sunday, we get sunshine back and our high temperature will be around 70 degrees. Let's check out that hourly forecast for the Easter weekend or for Sunday. 9 a.m. on Easter morning, 57 degrees, 66 at noon. And then by 3 o'clock, we're right around 70 degrees. And it'll be a southeast wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour that day. We have a cold front that moved through 2 days ago, and it stalled out to our south. That's why there's some rain in Oxford, and also why there's clouds here across the Mid-South. So that's going to keep a chance for a stray shower around here as we go throughout the day today. Now, rain chances are really low. 10 to 20% means you might see a stray shower, but your best shot for anything is probably around Oxford or Ashland or Corinth, areas where that front's a little closer. But at 3 o'clock on First Alert Futurecast, there's nothing showing up on there. It also looks dry tonight into tomorrow morning. This is 8 a.m. Saturday. You could briefly see some sunshine in eastern Arkansas, but West Tennessee, North Mississippi staying cloudy. Clouds build back in again as we go into the late afternoon, early evening. This is 6:30 here, and notice everyone's seeing those clouds again. But thankfully by Sunday morning, many of those clouds will be moving out, and you'll get more and more sun during the afternoon on Sunday. So let's plan out the rest of today. 55 at noon, 57 at 3 o'clock. Again, 20% chance of a shower, and it'll be cloudy all day. Low temperatures tonight on the chilly side, 49 in Memphis, 48 in Summerville, upper 40s in Brownsville and Alamo, 47 in Covington this evening, upper 40s in Olive Branch, right around 49 in Marks, Clarksdale, and Oxford tonight, 46 in Forest City, and then 47 in Marion today. If you want more details on that weekend forecast, the clouds, the showers that I was talking about, you can get that on our First Alert weather app. Just search for WMC in the App Store to download that for free. So here's our First Alert 7-day forecast. 50s today, as I mentioned, 60s tomorrow, up to the 70s on Sunday, and then we keep that warming trend going. So we have not had 4 full days of sunny weather, sunny and dry weather specifically since the middle of February. It was a wet March. It's been wet for the past few weeks around here to start off April, but we will finally kick all of that rain out of here and have several days with sunny conditions Monday through Thursday, 4 full days where you do not have to deal with rain, and temperatures will be in the 70s.
All right, well, I want to talk about something pretty interesting. There's a lot of people that are just high performers, high achievers, and they have so many positive traits. I mean, the discipline, the resilience, focus, vision. But sometimes those people that achieve these great things also can kind of get into their head and self-sabotage. And so we want to talk about these things because I think a lot of times the biggest thing is just being aware that you're doing this and then knowing how to respond to that sort of thing. So joining me now to help kind of shed some light on this topic is Sherry Riley. She is a best-selling author and a high-performance life coach. And I know that you work with like the NBA Coaches Association, all kinds of different organizations like that. So you're well-versed on this topic. So let's just kind of talk about just some of the characteristics of those high achievers and then how sometimes they can kind of get in their own way, right?
in this age of, being a high performer, knowing how to go after what you want to achieve, there's also that downside of using too much of that drive. And a lot of times the confidence does not stay in alignment with the drive. So what I always say is, we have the drive to succeed. Drive is what pushes us to achieve. Confidence is who we are when we get there.
And I know you have a list of 6 ways that high achievers are their own worst enemy. Can we kind of go through that list and just talk about what some of those are? Because like I was mentioning earlier, just being aware can sometimes help you make a change in maybe some of the things you're doing.
Yes, one of the first ones is we have to stop spending 100% of our time on 10% of who we are. That is what allows many high achievers to accomplish their great goals. And so there's this fallacy that if I just work in this 10%, then everything else through osmosis is going to be great in my life. And so we have to be very intentional that personal development is a key to developing and really emphasizing with the intention that other 90% of who we are. And when we do that, it allows us to be more empowered in our healthy life decisions. Because many times we also get to that place of success and realize we don't even know who we are. One of the other keys is ways that we self-sabotage as high achievers is we lead with this idea that we are entitled to our success because we work so hard versus accountability for the success that we achieve. And what happens with that is we get to this place where our ego minimizes who we hear, who we listen to. And that also stops us from growing so that we become better people, not just better in our profession. One of the other keys that I think is really most critical is we don't take time to self-assess. We begin to believe that all of our external success is the total magnitude of who we are. And again, as I said earlier, our skill and talent will take us to levels of success that our character can't sustain, meaning our decision making, how we self-assess the situation, how we're able to manage opportunities and distractions. And so that's when you see a high performer make a decision that you're looking at them like, how could you destroy all that you've worked for based on this bad decision? And that's because, again, our skill and talent would take us to levels of success that our character can't sustain.
This is super interesting to kind of dive into. For one, like you were mentioning, sometimes being kind of in your own lane and not taking advice from other people, because I know in my career field, a lot of the younger generation that's coming in, they have a lot more information about technology and how they're implementing that in the field. And then, everybody has something to bring to the table. And I think you can kind of take a piece of that, like you said, and help you to grow as well. And it's also one of those things, from what I'm hearing from you, it's just balance, because sometimes you get so hyper focused on this one thing that you, like you said, you lose yourself, and it kind of just creates this ripple effect, right?
Well, you highlighted two things. Two other ways is social, this age of technology and just communicating through technology. And what I say all the time is we don't know how to be social in the age of social media. And so what happens is we spend so much time with technology with high performers that we lose how to communicate. And so there's so many ways our lack of social communication because of social media puts us in positions where we're misinterpreted. So that communicating just through technology, we need to really expand and be more intentional about how we engage socially. And then you also touched on another with work-life balance. And what I say is work-life balance is a myth. In my book, Exponential Living, I literally in the first 68 pages talk about it being a myth. It's really about that work-life integration. And when we really identify what's most important. And it's really hard when you're a high performer because you've spent so much time developing your skill that we lose sight of really what's most important. And when we stop and self-assess, we start to really speak about our values, which is family, right? Many times our faith. But when we look at where we spend our time is not in alignment with what we say we value. And so as a high performer, we have to really reassess, not work-life balance, but more of that full life integration and answer the question, what is most important? And when we get crystal clear on what's most important, then we make our decisions through that lens. If it's family, then we're able to make decisions where family is first, and then we allow our business and our professional decisions to be amplified through that lens of family first. So where we get out of sync emotionally is we say family is our most important value, but when we look at our time, when we look at our intention, family is usually last on the list. And that's what causes that internal conflict that many high performers are challenged with. And one of the greatest areas of growth for high performers is they've achieved so much externally, but they have this huge void internally. And that's where we begin to experience that depression or really feeling out of sync and not performing at our highest level because we have that void and we think that more work will fill it, when the truth of the matter is it really is about making what's most important.
That's a good point, too, because a lot of times people, especially with the social media world these days, and you see these people achieving all these things, they post it, and then, like you said, they're doing all of these things, but at the same time, a lot of times there's that void. And, I know you're a high-performance life coach. Is this something you run into a lot? What is the biggest thing that people come to you saying that stands out?
Oh, my goodness. Yes, because they create a persona for social media. And then many times it's not in alignment with who they are and what they value in their own personal life. And so they get lost in, how do I continue to be this high performer or position myself in a way that isn't in alignment with really who I am? And so what I really work with on my clients is, how do we change the conversation in our own heads? That's one of the first places we have to start, because many times what we're pursuing is peace. And we think that external success, financial stability, a fabulous relationship or family is going to give us that peace. And one of the greatest challenges for a high performer is to reach all the levels of success they've worked so hard to get to and realize that they're miserable. And so we have to really stop and really evaluate what's most important. And the most important thing is their inner peace. And when we get to that place of recognizing that money will never give you peace, accolades and success will never give you peace, we have to pursue the peace first. And then that empowers us to really fully enjoy the experiences of our success. And that's really where I start with my high performers, is really with that conversation in their own head, so that they can begin to really self-assess what's most important, and then make sure that they do the personal development work so that who they are professionally and who they desire to be personally absolutely align with each other.
And I think it's so important to self-assess, because a lot of times you have a hard time even putting into words how you feel, why you feel, how you fix it, and that sort of thing. So sometimes taking that step back and almost kind of taking a step back, stopping, smelling the roses, where you realize, okay, this is where I need to start making changes, and this is, what's causing this problem. Is that something that you agree with?
Absolutely. Gratitude heals so much of our angst, so much of our anxiety, and so much of our fears. It's just gratitude. And with a lot of my clients, they've worked so hard to achieve their success that they've never just stopped and enjoyed where they were. And one of the areas of growth that we really focus on is never allow what you want to achieve to rob you of what you've already accomplished. Never allow what you want to achieve to rob you of the joy of what you've already accomplished. And so many times it's just allowing them a safe place to stop and enjoy the success that they've achieved while still being hungry and driven for that next level of success.
Oh, yeah.
And that all starts with that gratitude and really being able to appreciate what they've accomplished. Because many times the challenge is if I stop and enjoy where I am, then I'll lose that fire. I'll lose that drive. I'll lose that passion that pushed me to get to this level of success. And what I always help them understand is no, gratitude allows you to reboot, right? All of our technology, our computers, our phones, our iPads, in order for them to be their most productive, they have to stop, they have to reboot. And that's what I help them understand is that gratitude is just that reboot that allows you to reignite that passion, but in a more healthy way.
I think so many people can relate to this. And I think one of the biggest things that I struggle with that I've tried to make a point of doing more is just being fully present in what I'm experiencing. Because sometimes you get so caught up in life that you're not even fully present or fully appreciating some of those moments. Is that, I mean, do you kind of understand what I'm saying with that?
That is one of the greatest challenges, is this myth about multitasking, is that we have to be, and it's hard because when you are a high performer, and you can definitely relate to this, is you're always, pressed and stressed and concerned about what's next, or you evaluating what did I do wrong and how do I do better from what happened in the past, where our most powerful place is in the present. And what I help my clients with is that whether you're at work or at home, your presence is not enough. You have to be present. And many times we think our presence is enough. Well, I'm here, but I'm on my phone. I'm thinking about this. I'm more concerned with that. I'm trying to, be on social media to do this. And we're missing what's right in front of us. And that's where the anxiety amplifies, is because we're not present. And so the essence of exponential living is pursuing peace, choosing clarity, and living courageously. Because when we commit to being present, that's where that inner peace is our power. And when we commit to that peace, that's when we get clarity. A lot of times with high performers, because we have so many responsibilities, we're just not clear. And so we've got to focus on our peace, which gives us clarity. And then when you bring that peace and that clarity together, that's when you have the courage to do that inner work. That's when you have the courage to stop spending 100% of your time on 10% of who you are, the courage to self-assess, the courage to understand communication outside of technology, the courage to understand that you've got to lead through accountability and not entitlement. And so when we get to that place of peace and clarity, that's when we have the courage to make sure that these 6 ways that high performers can self-sabotage, we eliminate those and be more productive in every area of our life. And that's really the goal, is to be the best you, not just the best career you or sports you or athlete you, but to be the best you in every area of your life.
Sherry, this has been a great conversation. I think it's helpful to so many people, myself included. Is there anything else you want to make sure to hit home about before we let you go?
Well, I would definitely say these 6 ways of self-sabotaging, I really spend more time and give more insight in my book, Exponential Living, Stop Spending 100% of Your Time on 10% of Who You Are, where I share the 9 principles that really serve as the how. How do we really show up and really be intentional about eliminating all those areas of self-sabotage so that we can really experience exponential living?
Sherry Riley, author and high-performance life coach. I've really appreciated having you on here today, and you have a good one, all right?
Thank you. You too.
Okay, Andrew Douglas back here in the Action News 5 digital desk. The Memphis Police Department will host its first hiring expo of the year. It's going to be this Saturday. It'll be April 8th, and it's something that where someone can go by and start a brand new career with the Memphis Police Department. Joining me now to talk more about this hiring expo is Officer Christopher Freeman. He's joining us on the digital desk. Officer Freeman, if you could do me a favor and tilt down on your camera just a little bit. We got a lot of headroom there. But listen, I really appreciate you joining us this morning to talk about the Police Hiring Expo. tell me first, tell me about it. What can people expect when they stop by there this Saturday?
So the Memphis Police Department's Hiring Expo is a chance for anybody who has a heart for service that wants to come and serve the city of Memphis can come out and learn about the job and learn what it feels like to be a Memphis police officer. At the time when they're there, they get to speak with us about the different units that we have, the life of an academy recruit. They get to fill out an application and take the first test of the hiring process.
Gotcha. And so can you tell us a little bit more about when this is? I see that it's 11 to 3 on Saturday, where it is, and what people can expect when they show up. I mean, is there going to be just kind of an idea of what they can see in terms of a new career with the Memphis Police Department?
Absolutely. So first, the expo will be April 8th, which is this Saturday at 170 North Main from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. There will also be parking at the Mud Island Garage, which is at Poplar in front, so they don't have to worry about parking. But what they can expect is first they'll see us with smiling faces to greet them and guide them through the expo process. First, they need to bring a valid driver's license. So once they bring that, we can check them in and they can go through the expo experience. So they'll be able to speak with officers about the requirements, what to expect with the police department, how the police department has changed each and every one of our lives, and different ways that they can serve within the police department.
Okay, officer. So tell me how many officers they're looking to get in this hiring expo, and can you talk about some of the challenges? I know that it's been a priority for the mayor to get certain the level of the Memphis Police Department up to a certain standard.
So we don't have a cap on the amount of officers that we're trying to get from the expo. We just want to make sure that we put the opportunity out there for everybody who is interested and qualified to serve with us. So there's not a cap on the number.
Can you talk about maybe some of the characteristics that would make a great Memphis police officer, candidates that you're looking for?
Absolutely. First, of good moral character, trustworthy, honest. They must carry a high level of integrity. They must be passionate, and they also must love the city of Memphis and its citizens.
Do you need to register beforehand, and what do people need to bring?
So you don't have to register beforehand, just like you don't have to fill out your application beforehand, but it would speed up your check-in process if you did register beforehand. And if you go to the Memphis Police Department's Facebook page, the expo flyer is on the photos, and you can just scan the QR code and go ahead and register. And the only thing we ask people to bring is a valid driver's license.
Okay, and can you talk about perhaps some of the sign-on bonuses and the relocation assistance involved?
Absolutely. So once you're hired and you become a recruit, you are eligible for a $15,000 sign-on bonus. So that'll be given to you in 2 different payments upon graduation and upon completion of probation in your training period. The $10,000 relocation comes from if you live 50 miles outside of the city, we will give you up to $10,000 in relocation to help you move and get settled in the city of Memphis.
So what do you say to someone who is a little bit skittish about it, that would make probably a pretty decent candidate, but in light of some of the news, the national news out there, they're a little bit skittish about joining? What do you say to that candidate out there that would make a good police officer, but right now might be a little apprehensive?
I would tell them not to ignore their calling. They want to be a police officer for a reason. It's a deep-rooted calling that all of us have, and don't ignore that calling. You need to fulfill that calling because the people of Memphis, the citizens of Memphis, need you.
Can you talk a little bit about the academy, and once someone is selected for this expo hiring, the process to eventually become a police officer?
So the academy is 24 weeks long, roughly about 6 months. Within the academy, they'll learn the policies and procedures of the police department, constitutional law, state law. They also learn the firearms training and how to use the tools that we give them to operate on a day-to-day basis. And there's also physical training as well. We get them in shape.
Anything else you want to mention, Officer, about the expo this weekend that we haven't touched on?
Oh, so I just want to invite everyone and reiterate that we look forward to seeing you. And again, if you have that heart for service and if you really feel that calling in you, don't ignore it and come join the Best in Blue.
Okay, join mpd.com for more information. Christopher Freeman, we really appreciate you joining us and filling us in on the expo this Saturday from 11 to 3. Thanks so very much.
Thank you, sir.
Go for it, and we're going to go big because we know that's going to help.
Good morning and happy Friday. We have Easter ahead this weekend. If you have any plans on Saturday, a slight chance of a stray shower in the morning. The rest of the day will be dry. We will hold on to clouds, unfortunately, with a high around 63 degrees. So it'll feel cooler because of those clouds. But thankfully by Sunday, we get sunshine back and our high temperature will be around 70 degrees. Let's check out that hourly forecast for the Easter weekend or for Sunday. 9 a.m. on Easter morning, 57 degrees, 66 at noon. And then by 3 o'clock, we're right around 70 degrees. And it'll just be a southeast wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour that day. We have a cold front that moved through 2 days ago and it stalled out to our south. That's why there's some rain in Oxford and also why there's clouds here across the mid-south. So that's going to keep a chance for a stray shower around here as we go throughout the day today. Now, rain chances are really low. 10 to 20% means you might see a stray shower, but your best shot for anything is probably around Oxford or Ashland or Corinth, areas where that front's a little closer. But at 3 o'clock on First Alert Futurecast, there's nothing showing up on there. It also looks dry tonight into tomorrow morning. This is 8 a.m. Saturday. You could briefly see some sunshine in eastern Arkansas, but West Tennessee, North Mississippi staying cloudy. Clouds build back in again as we go into the late afternoon, early evening. This is 6:30 here, and notice everyone's seeing those clouds again. But thankfully by Sunday morning, many of those clouds will be moving out and you'll get more and more sun during the afternoon on Sunday. So let's plan out the rest of today. 55 at noon, 57 at 3 o'clock. Again, 20% chance of a shower, and it'll be cloudy all day. Low temperatures tonight on the chilly side, 49 in Memphis, 48 in Summerville, upper 40s in Brownsville and Alamo, 47 in Covington this evening, upper 40s in Olive Branch, right around 49 in Marks, Clarksdale, and Oxford tonight, 46 in Forest City, and then 47 in Marion today. If you want more details on that weekend forecast, the clouds, the showers that I was talking about, you can get that on our First Alert weather app. Just search for WMC in the App Store to download that for free. So here's our First Alert 7-day forecast. 50s today, as I mentioned, 60s tomorrow, up to the 70s on Sunday, and then we keep that warming trend going. So we have not had 4 full days of sunny weather, sunny and dry weather specifically since the middle of February. It was a wet March. It's been wet for the past few weeks around here to start off April, but we will finally kick all of that rain out of here and have several days with sunny conditions Monday through Thursday, 4 full days where you do not have to deal with rain, and temperatures will be in the 70s those days.
Amanda Hansen back here at the Action News 5 digital desk. And this morning we want to talk about shingles. A lot of times I think people believe that this happens in older people, but if you didn't know, it can happen in younger people too. And so joining us now to talk more about this is Dr. Cyril Walters with Regional One Health. Good morning, doctor. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm glad to be talking with you because I think this is such an interesting topic. And one reason why, my sister, she's in her early 30s, recently had the shingles, and she was like, I had no idea at this age that I could get that sort of thing. So I felt like this is such a great topic to talk about a little bit more. So I guess first off, let's just talk about what shingles is.
Okay, so shingles is actually what we refer to as herpes zoster. And so this is an infection that you can get from having a prior infection with chickenpox. It comes from the same virus. And so when you had chickenpox, that virus remained in your body, but it remained dormant or inactive. And for various reasons later in life, then you reactivate that virus and it causes shingles, which is a rash similar to chickenpox, but it's in one area of your body on one side that causes the same blistering, rash, and burning that you may have when you had chickenpox in the past.
Are there things that can trigger shingles in individuals, such as stress, something like that?
It's a theory that stress may induce shingles. One of the things that we do know is that shingles reactivate when your body's immune system is at its lowest. And that's why we tend to hear, you don't get shingles until you're older, because when you're a young child or when you're an older adult or past the age of 65, your immune system starts to weaken. And so now that we're seeing it in people that are under the age of 50, there is some concerns about, multifactorially, whether we have younger people that are sicker, and so they have some reduced immune system, or other stressors that cause your immune system to be lower at that time, including COVID that we just went through the pandemic.
That's a good point with COVID. Who's most at risk, though? We've kind of touched on, a lot of times people see this in older people. Are those the ones that are most at risk?
So those and anyone who has a weakened immune system. So about 1 in 3 of us will get shingles in our lifetime. And the ones who tend to be the most at risk are people who are over 50. And that's why the vaccines are recommended for that age group. And then anyone that has any type of immunity or weakened immunity. So from various diseases, like say HIV, if that was uncontrolled, children that have, immune disorders, or even adults with cancers and things like that may have weakened immunity.
It makes sense. Thank goodness there's the chickenpox shot that's now available. They didn't have that when I was a kid, and I remember my mom would take me around kids that had the chickenpox so I would get it at a young age. So I guess let's talk about some of the signs, symptoms that people need to look out for, and maybe would alert them that maybe this is what they have.
So the first thing that people tend to feel is like a burning, almost like a rash. About 5 to 7 days into that is when you start seeing kind of the fluid-filled rash that we become so comfortable with for chickenpox. And of course, chickenpox is not as common, so there may be some people who've never actually seen the blistering rash, but it then blisters up in that same area, one side of your body, and over time, then that crusts over like you would have with a typical chickenpox. Some people may end up having fevers associated with it, or abdominal pain, but the primary problem is the rash on one side of your body.
My sister, she immediately was she felt like it was that nerve pain. I mean, she said it was horrible. She ended up, she's not one that would just go into the emergency room. She ended up in the emergency room wanting to know what was going on. And then, of course, a few days later, that's when that rash appeared, and it became evident that that's what it was. But at first, it was kind of like, what is this? And she's a nurse, which is interesting enough. But I know we touched on this some, but younger people, why is it, you think, that more younger people are getting shingles like this? I know we mentioned the stress. Is that kind of, and just the weakened immune system, is that kind of really what it's all about?
There's a couple different theories, and actually if you look at the data, it shows that as time has been going on, younger people are having higher rates of shingles than people over 50. They're starting to plateau a little bit. One of the major thought process is that if you were born before 1980, just like you talked about with your mom, everyone kind of got shingles naturally, or chickenpox, naturally. And so that chickenpox immunity they're feeling may be a little stronger than the vaccines we're now getting. And so you have kind of younger persons who, don't remember getting chickenpox, or may not have the vaccine early enough. And then that causes a weaker immunity than if you had chickenpox when you were for the older population. And so because of that, they feel that, it doesn't protect you as well. And so that reactivation is quicker. There's also some theories about the chickenpox vaccine that you used to get in the past was a live vaccine. And so that may have induced kind of that reactivation.
This is just so interesting to me, just because my sister was personally affected by this. Let's talk a little bit more about shingles itself. How long does it last? How contagious is it to pass along to other people?
Okay, so like we discussed, that burning, nerve pain, itching that you may feel, that usually is about the first 5 days. And around that time, you are not contagious. You aren't contagious until you have those blistering rashes that are starting to open. And so that's usually in that first 7 to 10 days is when you start seeing that blistering rash. Over time, that crusts over. So once it's crusted, again, you're no longer contagious. And overall, the whole exposure can last for about 2 to 4 weeks in terms of getting the burn-in, getting the rash, having the rash kind of clear up and everything resolve. It can take about 2 to 4 weeks. Unlike chickenpox, it is only contagious when you touch the fluid from the blister and rash. So for most people, they can just cover up that rash and make sure that they wash their hands pretty well and not interact with it. And in that situation, you won't be contagious to others.
So does it help to get shingles early?
It does not, because there is an opportunity that you can get it a second time. Most people only get it once in their lifetime, but conceivably you get it earlier, then you have that chance of, as you get older and your immunity weakens again, to be able to get it a second time.
I was going to ask you, is it something that you can get again? And so you answered that question for me, which, I hope I don't end up with it at some point. But after experiencing what happened with my sister, I'm just like, wow. What about treatment? Does treatment depend? Does it vary from person to person on what works to help with either the nerve pain, the rash? How is it treated?
So when you do know or have, just like your sister, have a inkling that, there's a rash or something is going on, you want to get treated with antiviral medication. So you have acyclovir or valacyclovir. Those are antivirals that you want to give within the first 48 or 72 hours. And that reduces not only the duration of the rash and the symptoms, but it reduces your chance of having what we call post-herpetic neuralgia, which is a complication that you can get after shingles, where that burning and that pain in that area actually never goes away.
I've heard about that. I've actually done stories with people that have it's just debilitating and awful. What about the vaccine? We've talked about the vaccine some. Who should get it? When should they get it? Tell us more.
So for the shingles vaccine, it's recommended for patients or persons over the age of 50, and it's a 2-shot vaccine. Now, if you have a weakened immune system, or say someone that has cancer, and we know that's going on, then your provider, your physician can order for you to get the vaccine earlier than the age of 50. It's available, however, it's an expensive vaccine. So if you want to go based on recommendations, then those would be the persons that are more likely to have that shingles is age 50 and above.
With more younger people seeing shingles, do you think eventually that might be altered a little bit on the age?
It could be, because initially it was actually 65 and above, and so they reduced it to 50. And like we talked about, the data is showing that patients or persons over 65 and 70, the number of persons getting shingles have kind of plateaued, so it's not getting any higher. But the numbers that are going up are mostly in the people in the 40 to 50 range, and of course the younger ones are starting to go up. So I think if that trend continues, you might see the recommendation continue to drop.
Well, Dr. Walters, this interview has been so interesting to me. Is there anything else that you want to mention before we let you go?
In addition to getting the shingles vaccine, which is for over 50, get your chickenpox vaccine. So that is one of the things that will help kind of reduce the chances of you having that reactivation. So they kind of go hand in hand, since they're the same virus. It's just at different presentations.
Well, good deal. Well, Dr. Walters, I really appreciate your time, and thanks so much.
Thank you.
It is changing, and it's changing. I've been doing this almost 30 years.
One of the best interviews that you're going to see on the Action News 5 digital desk has to do with food. And each and every week or so, we interview the food reporter at the Commercial Appeal. And we have got a treat for you because Jennifer Chandler's joining us on the digital desk. And she's going to be talking about the top 10 best places for brunch, you know, either after church or with friends, having some mimosas, that sort of thing. I have to say, Jennifer, when we heard that we were talking with you about brunch, everyone in the newsroom, they lit up with their own little responses and what they liked and what they didn't like. How was it like putting together this list?
Oh, the ribbon.
Well, actually, it was a very daunting task. So I got the help of my newsroom. So this was kind of a collaboration effort for the newsroom at the Commercial Appeal. And I had everyone share what their favorite brunch spot was. And they went out to them and they did little mini reviews and told us what their favorite dishes are. So it was a really fun story to write. I like doing these collaboration things because sometimes they're ones that, you know, maybe weren't on my list before that I think I need to revisit.
Well, that's awesome. There are some on the list that I recognize, and there are some that I haven't been to yet. So I'm eager to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, well, let's get going. So the first one on the list is the Beauty Shop, and that's in the Cooper Young neighborhood and has been around for a very long time, very beloved, known for its Saturday and Sunday brunches. Michaela Watts, that was her favorite pick, and she went her go-to order there is the Eggs Benedict, which you can get in many different ways, but she likes the kind of traditional one that's done with brown sugar honey ham. That's what you see in that picture right there. And it has a really velvety hollandaise on it, a little arugula, you know, to give it a modern spin. And she often orders it as well. So Beauty Shop, classic, fun place to go for a Saturday or Sunday brunch.
For sure.
Next on the list is Magnolia and May. And Ray Padilla, who's our digital editor, likes to go there. And this is a tiny little restaurant by Chip and Amanda Dunham that is located off of Mendenhall. If you know where Gibson's and Gus's Fried Chicken is right there, kind of at Mendenhall, it's kind of tucked away on that side street behind Gus's. And it is a true neighborhood brasserie little restaurant, and it's always fun to go there. And they do serve brunch. And Ray's favorite dish there is the Tacos con Menfo, which has a fun name. But those are just a really good loaded breakfast egg taco. So Magnolia, May, and East Memphis. Have you been there before?
I have, and what I also liked about it, Jennifer, is that it's this funky place. You know, it's a little funky in there. It's got like I think the silverware that you just saw, or the plates there, just kind of lets you know, has that connection to just kind of a funky, cool spot in Memphis. I love it.
Yeah, it's actually kind of feels like a midtown restaurant in East Memphis, if I dare say that.
Exactly.
Kind of has that vibe.
I like that. That's a good description.
Okay. Yeah. So, okay, the next one on the list is one of my favorite, which is Edge Alley that I got to write about. And Edge Alley is located, actually that picture, we'll go back a minute. That's the liquor store. Then I'll go back to Edge Alley. So the liquor store is the picture that's up right now. And that one was with Corinne Kennedy. That was her favorite place. And that's on Broad Avenue. And it's got this really kind of cool, like Miami Cuban diner vibes inside. It's just Natalie Lieberman of Collect and Curate. It was one of her first big projects here in Memphis. It's really got a kind of cool retro feel to it. And one of their dishes that there's a signature, and it was also Corinne's favorite, is the sweet potato hash, which comes with eggs on top, and you can order a meat to go with it as well. And you can order bacon or sausage, but they have Cuban pork, and that's what Corinne recommended that she gets it with. And so that's a really kind of fun place to go. I really like their breakfast tacos. They've got fun cocktails on the menu too. I think that's kind of a requisite when you're going to brunch with friends, is to if you want to have a cocktail too, but they've got a great list of stuff on their menu. So let's go back to Edge Alley, which was one of the ones that I wrote about. So Edge Alley was this restaurant that I discovered back when the Commercial Appeals offices were in that big building, that iconic building on Union. This was kind of basically where I would go and get my lunch for a quick and easy lunch, or a quick and easy, cup of coffee, because it was literally like 1 block over. It's in the Edge District. And I kind of fell in love with it there. And it's kind of a neat, interesting space that Tim Barker has put together. He's the chef and owner, and he makes everything from scratch. I mean, when I talk about everything, he roasts his own coffee beans, for the Bloody Marys, he makes his own Bloody Mary mix. He even makes his crackers that he serves because he's right next to a brewery. And he uses some of their leftover, I guess it's the mash from the brewery, and he will use that to make crackers. But I have 2 go-to orders there. So if I'm feeling very hungry, I will get the steak and eggs, and they are perfectly cooked tenderloins with a perfectly cooked eggs on the side. Actually really, really great. It comes with a chimichurri sauce. I really, really love it. And then the picture, what you see right here, this is his ham and cheese quiche, which is like no other you will find in town, because he puts a layer of grainy mustard on the crust before adding the filling. And so it's kind of very reminiscent of a ham and cheese sandwich. It's kind of crazy, but it really, really works. And definitely, favorite drink there, when I said that he roasts his own coffee beans, I have lots of non-alcoholic coffee drinks that I like there, like his How Now Brown Cow, which is a salted caramel coffee latte. But the one I say to get is, oh my gosh, I'm gonna draw the blank on the name right now that I'm sitting here. He has one it's like, I think it's called the Good Stuff. It's a bourbon spiked coffee drink. It's a really great way to start your brunch. So moving on down the list, Sunrise Memphis is a Memphis favorite, and now they have 2 locations. They have one on the original on Jefferson and one on East Memphis. It's at Poplar, kind of near Yates. And this is Chef Ryan Trim has done this business, and it's great. This is Evan Barnes. This was his pick. He's one of our sports reporters, and he prefers the Jefferson one because that's the one he's always been going to. And his favorite dish is the Rooster, which is a fried chicken biscuit that is pretty simple and pretty good, because they make their biscuits from scratch, and there's a little bit of spice to this dish. So the fried chicken biscuit at Sunrise, if you haven't been there, try it. Again, they have a whole bunch of fun brunch cocktails on their menu too. So were any of those one of the ones you haven't been to yet? I'm curious.
I've never been to the Edge Alley, and that looks amazing. I gotta say, I mean, anyone who roasts their own coffee beans is not playing around.
Yeah. Oh, and I forgot to mention, when you go, they have, you remember monkey bread when you were a kid? The kind of pull apart, with the biscuits and the cinnamon sugar that you would make. Well, he has a grown-up version of it on the appetizer menu, and it comes, and it's like in this, it almost looks like a French pastry when it comes to your table, and it comes with a cinnamon dipping sauce, and it is so yummy. It's so good. We actually, that's awesome. It's perfect for sharing. It's big enough to share, but we kind of ate some in the beginning, and then we saved some for dessert.
Oh, nice. Now, the liquor store, you mentioned, going back to the liquor store, Cuban influence, is that throughout the menu, throughout the day, or is that just for the breakfast?
It is throughout the day. They pretty much serve breakfast all day is what they're a diner. They have some kind of lunch type dishes as well, but there's definitely kind of a Cuban vibe before. The Toros that owned it. It recently just sold to the owners of South of Beale. Just bought it actually earlier this year. But the people that started, Lisa Toro, her and her husband is, I think, of Cuban descent. He's from somewhere in like that, but I should know that, and I don't know that. But that's what the influences on that menu are. So it's not a Cuban restaurant per se, but it almost feels like a Miami restaurant, kind of like it has like a vibe of Southern stuff and Cuban stuff and American stuff, and I mean it's an eclectic menu, but it's fun.
I can't wait to check it out. Those are definitely on my list.
So, okay, well, let's move on to Bartlett, another part of town, to Biscuits and Jams. And this is a favorite spot of mine as well. Dima Amra wrote about it. And Dima is a vegetarian. And so I always love to include her in a story because I know there's so many vegetarians and vegans in Memphis now. And you're always looking for an option of where to go. And she says that Biscuits and Jams is one of her places to go that she can find something delicious to eat. And she likes the Blueberry Hill lemon blueberry waffle, which you see there, which is light and fluffy and flavorful. It comes in a traditional one and can be ordered vegan as well. Many of the waffles and the pancakes on Biscuits and Jams menu can be ordered in as a vegan version. And she gets a side of vegan sausages to go with it. And it's really, really good. Monique Williams is the owner there. They have a fun brunch cocktail menu. I'll give you a sneak preview for Easter. They're doing peep-teenies with marshmallow peeps for Easter. But she has a breakfast eggs, like a Benedict that has like a crawfish, shrimp. I don't want to say it's an étouffée, but it's just, the sauce is so good. It's like, I think she calls it her Creole Benedict. That's one of my favorite dishes there. But if you haven't been to Biscuits and Jams and Bartlett, you need to check it out. It opened, I feel like it opened sometime around 2020. It could have opened in 2019, right before the pandemic, but it was sometime around there. So it hasn't been around very long. Next on the list is a Memphis classic, Owen Brennan's. I mean, you can't really talk about brunch in Memphis without Owen Brennan's because they have that huge brunch buffet spread that is over the top, that has, omelets made to order, which you have to give a shout out to Shorty, the omelet maker. His real name is Robert Fisher. So maybe go up to him one day and say, "Hi, Robert," and you'll surprise him because everyone calls him Shorty. But he is just always puts on such a great show when making omelets there, and they're delicious. But they'll have, you can get it with crawfish étouffée on top. There's boiled shrimp. There's sometimes raw oysters. There's you name it, it's on this brunch buffet, and it's only on Sundays. And that's something to remember. And they no longer take reservations. So it is first come, first serve. So if you're going right after the church rush gets there, you may have to wait a minute. It's totally worth it. Order a cocktail and enjoy yourself outside on the patio while you wait for your table. But I always tell people to either pretty much go early as your best bet, or you can go later. But if you're hitting there around 12:15, just know that you might have a little bit of a wait. Next on the list is something a little different than when people don't necessarily think of pizza for brunch, but Hog and Hominy is one of my favorite places to go. They do have a bunch of brunch items on their menu, but when I go there, I always go for the pizza. And they have two pizzas that are very kind of brunchy. The one you see here is the red eye that has that perfectly poached runny egg that when you cut into it on top. They also have a pizza called the Pruitt that has scrambled eggs on top. I mean, who would have thought? It is actually really, really good. You can start with things like they have sausage balls with Tiny Bomb mustard dipping sauce. And, I always get the crab claws, which come in this like buttery garlic sauce. And here is the insider trick. When you finish the crab claws and they come to clear that plate, you say, "No way, Jose, keep that plate here." And what you do is you save that garlic butter and you dip the crust bowls that they serve for brunch. They have moved that over to Hog and Hominy now. So the punch bowls are still in Memphis. They've just moved from downtown to East Memphis. So if you're going with a group, consider ordering one of their punch bowls. It's kind of a fun thing to do. Now, moving down our list is another Memphis staple, Brother Juniper's over by the University of Memphis. I mean, I don't even know how long, I should have looked up how long that restaurant has been around, but it is a tried and true classic. Always fun. Does not take reservations either. And, but it's a fun, when you're standing there and you're waiting, it's a very casual place, and it's always a good vibe, even if you have to wait 15, 20 minutes for a table. So one of our new photographers, Chris Day, this was his pick, and he says the sausage gravy and biscuits is his favorite thing. He says, that's such a Southern thing. And he says that they do it perfectly. Their biscuits are awesome. So if you want a very casual brunch experience, head over to Brother Juniper's. They're also known for their open face omelets that are so good. They've got pretty much everything breakfast on the menu. So definitely Brother Juniper's. Okay, and then we're going to round out to the last one, which is one I have not been to. But Gina Butkovich, who covers our DeSoto County coverage, she picked a restaurant that was in South Haven. And I have to giggle because I have had a mimosa bong or a mimosa tower. They call them bongs. I've heard them called towers before, as you see in this picture. But the 10th Inning Sports Bar and Grill has that. And I don't know if any place else in Memphis does. One of my daughters went to school in Colorado, and there was a restaurant in Boulder that had these giant mimosa things, and I would take her and maybe 6 or 7 of her friends out, and we would drink those. Her senior year, of course, when she was over 21. But it's kind of a fun, casual thing to do with friends is to go and have a mimosa bong at 10th Inning Sports Bar and Grill. And she says the food is good too. So I'm going to have to add that to my list and probably arrange for a designated driver.
That looks amazing. Wow. You saying 10th inning, you knocked that out of the park there, Jennifer Chandler. Once again.
Well, and I'm going to tell you, one of the reasons I think of spring, and I was thinking, Easter is coming up, and so that kind of got me on the brunch mode. So that's why we and I know there are places that should have been on this list, but we had to limit it to 10, and because otherwise we'd be the entire paper talking about brunch. But check out on Friday my list of places doing Easter brunch specials. We'll publish online at commercialappeal.com. So if you're thinking of on the fence of where you want to go for Easter brunch, all of these will be perfect. But I also have a list of places that are doing special menus, or some are doing prefix menus. There are a few restaurants that are not normally open for brunch that will be open for brunch on Easter. So definitely check out that story too if brunch is your favorite thing, and especially for Easter.
And that's what we call in the industry a tease. Jennifer Chandler, we appreciate it so much. Each and every time you come on, that brunch list looks phenomenal. Thanks so much. Again, Commercial Appeal, commercialappeal.com/food. Jennifer, thanks.
Great. Bye.
All right, so we all know about ChatGPT. We've heard about it. It's been in the headlines now for weeks, if not months. It's essentially an artificial intelligence program that allows people to write all kinds of essays and documents and various structures. And for students across the country, they're using ChatGPT and other technology to cheat on their homework assignments, their essays, that sort of thing. And professors and teachers are having a really difficult time distinguishing ChatGPT writings versus the actual students' writings. Well, there is now a tech company that has designed a program, it says, that will make it harder for students to cheat and allow parents and teachers to detect if students are using programs like ChatGPT. It's fascinating, right? Because we've heard so much about it, but now there might be a program here to combat against it. That's why we've brought in Annie Ciccitelli, Chief Product Officer with Turnitin. Annie, I hope I said your name right. How are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you doing, Andrew?
Doing well. So tell me about, first off, let's explain to everyone if maybe they've heard about ChatGPT, they don't know how it works. Let's explain how it works for our audience.
Sure. So ChatGPT and other text generators are large language learning models. They are very predictive. So they write based on the next word. So they take the prompt that was written as well as everything they wrote before to predict the next most probable word in that sentence, and thus that's how they write. They're not writing for meaning. They're not writing to create a story. It's a very different way of writing than humans do. And so it leaves this trace or a statistical trace that we're able to detect because of the way that it chooses the next most probable word.
I was talking to someone last fall, someone who works for the SAT, ACT board, and they told me that ChatGPT is extremely challenging for them because it's hard for them to determine essays, and schools and universities a lot of times require essays for students and base that on possible enrollment. And so they were really kind of wringing their hands, wondering how they would be able to detect ChatGPT versus a student's actual writing. But I understand your tech company has developed a program to detect it. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, and so we, Turnitin is a company for the past 25 years focused on academic integrity. And this is just an extension of our core business, which was started out as similarity detection. So looking to see if something a student submitted is similar to something on the internet or perhaps another paper. And so this is just an extension. It uses different technology, though, than obviously our similarity detection, in which we're able to, because we have been working with student writing for over 20 years, we understand even different grade levels of how students write. We're able to create a model that compares that to ChatGPT writing or any other program that uses GPT-3 or 3.5 to determine if there are the differences, and we're able to see the statistical significance that the student submitted of the different words to determine if there are traces of AI writing.
So give me an example of how it would work. So if let's say a student submits an essay, for example, would they then put the essay into this program by Turnitin, and then Turnitin would say, okay, you know, based upon what we're seeing, this is ChatGPT, you know, a percentage of, you know, tell me how it would work.
Yeah, sure. So the good news is that we already have an established workflow that students are used to because of our similarity detection. So students already have a path for submitting their assignments to Turnitin, and teachers already have an interface by which they're comfortable working. And we show them today, for the similarity, we show them a copy of their submission and highlight places where there is similarity to other documents. So that already exists. And so what we've added to that interface is a button, so kind of like a flag that says AI rating, and it gives a percentage, and it's a percentage of the document. But we encourage all teachers to learn more. Don't just take what it's, you know, just across all our tools, right? Don't just take what the percentage is, you know, make sure that we want the teacher to click into that to see line by line where we think ChatGPT or another tool was used to create the paper. And then that gives the teacher the ability to have those conversations with the student. We believe that it shouldn't just be taken as a detection of cheating, right? We think that the teacher is going to make that determination based on what they find and what evidence we provide them.
Sorry about that, Annie. I'm having some issues with my mic. Is there anything that says there is a success rate when it comes to this program from Turnitin? You know, is it 80%, 90% effective in catching ChatGPT?
Yeah, it's a great question. And so we have tuned the model in a specific way to err on the side of safety. And what we mean by that is that we only indicate to teachers that we suspect AI writing when we're 98% sure. And so we turned that dial up. But at the same time, we want to make sure we're reducing false positives as much as possible. And so in order to balance that, in our lab tests, we predict that we probably miss about 15% of AI writing so as to keep that false positive rate quite low. And so we think we catch up to 85% with 98% confidence, but with a less than 1% false positive rate.
Wow, it's so interesting to hear about this. First with ChatGPT and other artificial intelligence programs, and then your program that catches ChatGPT writing, that sort of thing. It's wild. Where can people go, perhaps parents, teachers, for more information on your new program?
Yeah, so teachers who use Turnitin can learn more within the interface that they're already using. There are a whole bunch of tools and best practices and FAQs to help teachers educate themselves and learn more, not just about our program, but about the use of these tools in general. And then parents and other people can go to Turnitin.com on our website, and you can learn more about our AI writing there.
All right, Annie Cecchitelli, Chief Product Officer with Turnitin. We appreciate your time this morning. A fascinating development with regards to ChatGPT and other artificial intelligence programs. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you, Andrew.
Good morning, everyone. Andrew Douglas in the Action News 5 digital desk. A breast cancer diagnosis is already such a difficult experience for women, but the traditional way of finding a tumor called wire localization adds only to the stress and the discomfort. Many women are unaware that there is an alternative approach to that. Let's talk with someone who knows about that alternative approach. I'm joined now on the Action News 5 digital desk by technical founder of Molly Surgical, Anath Ravi. Mr. Ravi, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
So tell me about what breast cancer surgery typically looks like for the patient.
I mean, you started talking about it quite correctly. Breast cancer surgery for most patients actually starts off in radiology. We're fortunate to be living in an era where we have breast cancer screening. So we find cancers for most women while they're very small and highly treatable. But because they're so small, it's really hard in surgery to find it and remove them with precision. So surgeons rely on radiologists marking these tumors in radiology using imaging. And unfortunately, the current standard of care is using wires, and wires unfortunately look like a fishing hook. The patient comes in the morning after fasting the night before, they place this wire in the breast, and then they wait for surgery, and sometimes they have to drive from the radiology facility to surgery, where the surgeon then palpates and tries to find that wire and remove it. So you can imagine that experience has a lot to be desired, and we were compelled to change that and created Molly.
I know that there are so many people that are watching us, thousands watch us, and I know that there are some breast cancer survivors or people who know of breast cancer survivors. Can you walk us through this alternative method?
Absolutely. And the whole company was founded on just really improving that patient experience and reducing the burden on patients, because it is such a heavy burden to bear, as well as on the physicians and health systems and care providers. And the way we do it is by implanting, instead of the wire that protrudes out of the breast, we implant this tiny marker. It's the smallest marker on the market. It's the size of a sesame seed. And then that's done as a quick 5-minute procedure, and it's akin to a needle injection. So minimally painful for the patient. It's done, and then she gets to leave, and then she gets to book the surgery on her own schedule completely autonomously. And then the surgeon uses a wand and a tablet, much like a GPS, to pinpoint the location of the lesion, and they can find it within millimeters and then be able to plan a treatment and a surgery that not only gets rid of the cancer, but also achieves amazing cosmetic results for the patient.
That sounds fantastic. Sounds great. Certainly an alternative that so many people would want to take. What are some important questions that people should ask their doctor in terms of this new treatment?
And I think it's about asking for options. While you're there, I mean, it's a huge burden to bear. It's often advised to have someone with you, like a second pair of ears, to just take notes, because it's a lot of information all at once. And asking questions around what options do you have are very useful. And hopefully people are aware of Molly and this types of technology. But Beyond that, I think it's always good to advocate for screening, because none of this happens unless we can have women and patients come in and get screened on a regular basis so we can catch these cancers early so that they're treatable.
What else can we talk about with regards to this alternative method and some of those breast cancer patients that are currently watching?
So, I mean, a couple of things. The three things that this type of method really changes for the patient is, one, it dramatically improves their experience. We're no longer having them waiting, sometimes even fainting with a wire protruding from their breast. The second piece is that they are able to schedule their surgery and their implant on different times. So it can be actually adjusted to their own schedule. It's not this long, burdensome day anymore. It's a 5-minute outpatient in radiology and then a scheduled surgery. And these both aspects are dramatically improvements over the standard. And finally, with the additional guidance, we can even offer a little bit of improved options in terms of cosmetic results. So for a patient, this does provide a significant improvement in terms of the standard techniques.
How long has it been around, and is there any kind of an area where people can go online and learn more about it?
Absolutely. We've been around for a better part of 2 years now, and we've had some, and it's been incredibly gratifying that we've influenced the lives of over 6,000 patients throughout North America at several institutions and growing. So, we encourage people to find out more about this treatment options, and we hope to improve the patient experience for a lot of patients with breast cancer. And you can always find more information on our website. It's www.mollysurgical.com. We also have a Hope page that has a lot of information actually authored by patients and patient advocates and physicians themselves, with a lot of resources and support for breast cancer patients as well.
Okay, Anath Ravi, founder of Molly Surgical, an advanced alternative treatment to finding tumors out there. We appreciate your time this morning explaining exactly what this alternative is. Thanks very much.
Appreciate you.
The Mid-South Transplant Foundation is encouraging every community to celebrate Blue and Green Day in the Mid-South, organ and tissue donation. Check out that flyer there. April 14th, 2023. That's next Friday. You can shine the light on organ and tissue donation. In fact, that day is a very significant day. Let's bring in Zola Burgess, Community Outreach Coordinator with Mid-South Transplant Foundation, to talk more about April, the month, and what April 14th means for organ donation and tissue donation. Good morning, Zola. Tell us about April 14th and that month of April when it comes to the Mid-South Transplant Foundation.
Birthday wishes everywhere. April the 14th is such an amazing day. What that says for us is that we want all of the citizens of Memphis and the surrounding areas to raise awareness for organ and tissue donation. We would like for you, if you have a business, light up your business. Then we say that we want you to turn your home on the outside, turn that into blue or green. So it raises awareness for the people that are in organ and tissue failure here in the Mid-South. Currently, we have over 4,000 people on the waiting list, waiting on vital organs.
Yeah, I was going to say the numbers are pretty dramatic, that people are waiting for those life-saving organs, and there's 4,000 right now. Tell us what the Mid-South Transplant Foundation does to help those thousands of people waiting for that life-saving organ.
What Mid-South Transplant does, we work quite a bit with the Department of Safety. So when you get your license or if you get it renewed, you can register to be an organ and tissue donor. And this occurs after this life that we have is over. You can donate your organs to those that are in need. And we work along with the county clerks. So when the clerks and the desk asks, you want to donate $1 to the organ donor fund, please say yes. This helps us to spread awareness. We work along with the churches universities, high schools, businesses. We work with the county commission. We work all over to spread awareness. We have hospitals. We service every hospital in our area, which is East Arkansas, West Tennessee, and North Mississippi. So we get in there and we collaborate with the nurses and everybody to make sure that we get the word out and everything that is being done to save a life.
So I know that there's all kinds of ideas online about ways to bring awareness to transplant, organ and tissue donation and transplant. What are some ways that maybe people can show awareness on April 14th, next Friday?
On April the 14th, what they can do is they can wear a blue or either green. So, and just highlight that. And also what they can do is turn the lights on. And that will represent us. We're going to light up the bridges. If you want to support it, you can go out there and see those beautiful lights that comes on. We have a lot going on at the hospitals. Right now, Methodist University, they have their lights on blue and green. The airport, they have theirs on blue and green. And last year we had the Civil Rights Museum. So we're looking for that again so that everybody can recognize that day. And if you want, we're going to have several festivities going on at the hospitals. We're having flag raisings. So when you see the Donate Life flag raised at a hospital, then that's what it's all about. Raising awareness and shining the light.
Okay, Zola Burgess, Community Outreach Coordinator for Mid-South Transplant Foundation. We appreciate your time and best of luck all month long as we bring awareness to organ and tissue donation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. But what we do, if a person wants a yard sign, for the complete month of April, we are highlighting Donate Life Month. If you want a yard sign, you can reach out to us. You can go to midsouth.transplant.org and order a yard sign. You can order table tents, posters, different things that you can just show your support for those that are in need.
Okay, all right. Zola Burgess, again, appreciate your time and enjoy the rest of the month.
All righty. Thank you so much for having me.
Good morning and happy Friday. We have Easter ahead this weekend. If you have any plans on Saturday, a slight chance of a stray shower in the morning. The rest of the day will be dry. We will hold on to clouds, unfortunately, with a high around 63 degrees. So it'll feel cooler because of those clouds. But thankfully by Sunday, we get sunshine back and our high temperature will be around 70 degrees. Let's check out that hourly forecast for the Easter weekend or for Sunday. 9 a.m. on Easter morning, 57 degrees, 66 at noon. And then by 3 o'clock, we're right around 70 degrees. And it'll just be a southeast wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour that day. We have a cold front that moved through 2 days ago and it stalled out to our south. That's why there's some rain in Oxford and also why there's clouds here across the Mid-South. So that's going to keep a chance for a stray shower around here as we go throughout the day today. Now, rain chances are really low. 10 to 20% means you might see a stray shower, but your best shot for anything is probably around Oxford or Ashland or Corinth, areas where that front's a little closer. But at 3 o'clock on First Alert Futurecast, there's nothing showing up on there. It also looks dry tonight into tomorrow morning. This is 8 a.m. Saturday. You could briefly see some sunshine in eastern Arkansas, but West Tennessee, North Mississippi staying cloudy. Clouds build back in again as we go into the late afternoon, early evening. This is 6:30 here, and notice everyone's seeing those clouds again. But thankfully by Sunday morning, many of those clouds will be moving out and you'll get more and more sun during the afternoon on Sunday. So let's plan out the rest of today. 55 at noon, 57 at 3 o'clock. Again, 20% chance of a shower, and it'll be cloudy all day. Low temperatures tonight on the chilly side, 49 in Memphis, 48 in Somerville, upper 40s in Brownsville and Alamo, 47 in Covington this evening, upper 40s in Olive Branch, right around 49 in Marks, Clarksdale, and Oxford tonight, 46 in Forest City, and then 47 in Marion today. If you want more details on that weekend forecast, the clouds, the showers that I was talking about, you can get that on our First Alert weather app. Just search for WMC in the App Store to download that for free. So here's our First Alert 7-day forecast. 50s today, as I mentioned, 60s tomorrow, up to the 70s on Sunday, and then we keep that warming trend going. So we have not had 4 full days of sunny and dry weather specifically since the middle of February. It was a wet March. It's been wet for the past few weeks around here to start off April, but we will finally kick all of that rain out of here and have several days with sunny conditions Monday through Thursday, 4 full days where you do not have to deal with rain, and temperatures will be in the 70s those days.
And that does it for us here in the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Have yourself a wonderful afternoon and a wonderful weekend. We have Action News 5's Ariana Poindexter coming up at the top of the hour for Action News 5 midday. And then we will once again crank up the Action News 5 Digital Desk bright and early on a Monday morning. Have yourself a great weekend. Take care.